What is it like to see the system's hidden information right from the start? What kind of experience is that? While others are still drawing cards to decide their future profession, the male lead sees the golden legend at a glance. Thus he gains the hidden class, Great Mage. The system issues a new player task. To others seems ordinary, but the male lead can see the hidden rewards within the task. Even an ordinary husky on the side of the road. The male lead tames it and unexpectedly acquires the strongest divine beast. Xingxianyu was originally an ordinary worker, making a living by grinding dungeons in the game. Unexpectedly, a sudden lightning strike completely changed the trajectory of his life. When he woke up in the hospital, the huge medical bills gave him a headache. Losing his game account, which he relied on for survival, being banned, was undoubtedly adding insult to injury. Helpless, he could only start leveling a new account. This game, called Divine Battle, has only two ways to succeed at pulling cards. One is continuous spending. The other is to be favored by good luck. His previous account had already cost him all of his savings. This time it all depends on Lady Luck. He looked at the cards laid out before him. Xingxianyu even doubted his eyesight. How could he suddenly see the contents of the cards? Hesitantly, Xingxianyu chose a golden legendary card. Congratulations, you have obtained the legendary profession, Grand Archmage. With the system prompt sounding, Xingxianyu was completely dumbfounded. I drew the hidden class that others spent millions to get. Let's see the real reactions of the people around me drawing cards. Let's see the real reactions of people around me drawing cards. Xingxianyu finally realized he had awakened the Lucky God system. After a while, the system released a new tutorial quest. Xingxianyu looked at the hidden content in the quest introduction. The richness of the rewards left even this veteran player speechless. A reward of 10 points for all attributes, but that's like leveling up twice. In the 5 years he's been playing Goddess Battle, he's never heard of anyone completing this task. Xingxianyu grinned. It looks like my time has come. A golden light flash. The beginner's task begins. Pay attention. Other players do not survive more than 30 seconds in front of this group of vicious goblins, but this man has survived here for 71 minutes. That's because he can see the system's hidden information. The green indicator light means a peaceful state with no attack intention. Red indicates that you are targeted for attack. The low-level movement, even the weapons and equipment on him, the low-level movement was clearly seen by him. Xingxianyu relied on this golden finger to hide and sneak around. Finally, he met the hidden conditions of the mission. He received a generous reward of 10 to all attributes. After completing the hidden mission, Xingxianyu was in a great mood. He was just about to go spend a little. Suddenly, he was drawn to a golden light. Taking a closer look, it turns out to be an ordinary husky. But this brilliant radiant glow must be the highest level legendary quest, a rare op. If I sell this quest, would not I be on top of the world? Damn this lucky European emperor physique. Xingxianyu nervously opened the mission description. A series of hidden information appeared before his eyes. What the hell is that, a wolf? Forget it, I'll just accept the mission first. Xingxianyu then approached the MP mentioned in the mission. He opened the mission panel. The hidden information reaching the sky immediately stunned him. He's just a fool with cervical spondylosis. Xingxianyu searched high and low, finally finding the quest description related to the husky. With the last goblin falling, Xingxianyu not only collected all the quest materials, but also gained a chance at a random upgrade card draw. But the word random for him had lost its meaning. I did not even get a single epic card. What happened to my lucky streak? In the end, Xingxianyu had no choice but to pick a rare fireball skill. After completing the quest, Xingxianyu finally obtained the quest item. He immediately rushed back to her half. Congratulations, you've earned the title of Beast Master. With the system prompt sound, Xingxianyu obtained a Zisha Divine Beast. Is this a legendary quest? Xingxianyu helplessly sat under the tree, looking at the cute divine beast. Please name it. Xingxianyu thought for a moment. I'll call you Food God. Immediately a golden light shot out. Can you believe it? This silly and cute Kuki is actually an unstoppable ultimate divine beast. While completing the rescue mission for the second husky, Xingxianyu earned a chance for a random card draw. I hope there will be more rare cards this time. Xingxianyu waved his hand. Countless cards appeared out of thin air. No way, there's even an epic card. A skill that allows one to move objects with telekinesis during battles later on. Being able to directly control opponents will be awesome. It's fortunate that Xingxianyu is a grand mage. He can learn all magic skills. Otherwise, this mind technique, a skill exclusive to Earth, might have slipped right past him. Looks like you two Husk really can bring some good luck. Let's go, men, fight to battle. Goblin Forest. A group of green-skinned monsters is foraging. Suddenly, strange rustling sounds caught their attention. In the next second, a two Husk pounced out. With one bite, the goblin was taken down. At the same time, Xingxianyu also cast Fireball. Dealing with the remaining monsters, the teamwork between him and the dog was flawless. It seems that mere goblins pose no threat to them anymore. Just as they were about to move deeper into the jungle, a strange phenomenon suddenly appeared in the sky. It turned out to be a boss monster dungeon. The rewards for dungeons like this are extremely generous. However, the incredibly high difficulty keeps many people away. Only a small number of top-tier experts can participate. Xingxianyu looked at the countdown for the boss's appearance. He thought to himself that it might be a good idea to sell this information and make some money from it. Just as I clicked to publish, a thought suddenly crossed my mind. What if I do it myself? With the addition of the husky, there's still a chance of winning, rather than leveling up steadily. It's better to take a risk and turn a bike into a motorcycle. Let's go, we'll defeat him together. Pay attention, Invincible Goblin Boss is being pinned down and rubbed into the ground by one person and one dog, all because Zhang Shiny does not play fair. He dug a 618-meter deep trap in advance. The boss accidentally fell into the trap and was treated to a full set of cupping therapy by Zhang Xianyu. Although he successfully escaped the trap in the end, he was left with only 1/4 of his health. The enraged boss was about to deal with Zhang Xianyu. Unexpectedly, someone jumped in at the last moment. Godhood pounced on him. He pinned him to the ground, rendering him immobile. Flames danced in Xianyu's hands as he leisurely walked toward him. Next is a scene of carnage not suitable for children. After this battle, Zhang Xianyu not only gained many precious titles, but also received an extra chance to draw a card. Just then, Fanshin seemed to have discovered something incredible. It was actually a mask worn by the boss. Within the goblin forest, Zhang Xianyu continuously used fire magic and ice arrows against the goblins. I have to say, the ice arrow skill I drew this time is incredibly effective at breaking armor. In just a few seconds, the goblin squad was routed. Even if there were a few stragglers, the food god also arrives just in time to solve the problem. The man and the dog are already going wild. In perfect coordination, Zhang Xianyu looks at the incomplete goblin set in his backpack. The attributes of the ordinary set are indeed disappointing. Won't I get more epic gear? Just then, a mage player looking like a newbie came running from afar. Close behind him was another, a towering giant wielding a spiked hammer. The giant raised his hammer and brought it down, and the little mage was instantly killed. These people are called newbie hunters. They specifically target and slaughter low-level players, the game bugs who take pleasure in torturing others. As Zhang Xianyu looked at Rice God's eyes, filled with hatred for evil, and secretly made up his mind to follow the path. They seemed to have set their sights on another group of prey. Just as Big Hammer was about to strike, a fireball spell came hurtling toward them. The loud explosion caught the attention of many people. Upon closer inspection, the person was Zhang Xianyu. With a swift motion, he fired an ice arrow as fast as lightning, and in an instant sent one person flying several meters away. The remaining person, experienced and well-informed, recognized him as a Grand Magus at a glance. He immediately concluded that Zhang Xianyu was a rich second generation, and turned to flee at once. What's it like to see hidden card information in a gacha game? I can see the hidden information. Defeating players I can see. The best equipment among the dropped items, the various Lin warriors, divine beast upgrades, I can see them at a glance. Among them the golden legend, thus obtaining epic skill. I can even obtain the hidden reward master title from the dungeon. He could also see it very clearly. With the enhancement of this ability, Zhang Xianyu quickly gathered the epic goblin set. Not only did all his stats increase by 25 points, but attacking goblins would also add 10% extra damage. Looking at the wisdom attribute above 100 on the panel, this was the most important stat for a mage. For an average player, achieving a stat above 100, it has to be at least level 15, but Zheng Hanwu is only level 9. Meanwhile, the divine beast seems to have reached a breakthrough point. Zheng Hanwu is the most eye-catching card among many. Along with the increase in attribute values, he obtained a legendary ability. Treasure Explorer. This ability is really impressive. Not only can it gather rare herbs and ingredients, but it can also locate hidden boss dungeons. As the first person to discover this place, it would be a shame not to run a dungeon with all this good gear. We see a man and his dog slowly enter the tree hollow. The dark cave is filled with a chilling aura. At the far end, the sorcerer does not look like someone you want to mess with. The green-skinned monsters with red eye disease seem to have trouble seeing clearly. The enemies are right in front of them, yet they have not noticed. Only the little one acts first, using its mouth to take down a goblin. Fortunately, the other goblins have long enough ears and quickly react. But by then, it's already too late. Zhang Xianyu's fireball technique is like a tactical missile. It precisely hits the enemy's head. It's time for the dungeon strategy. This man just got his hands on an epic great item, but in the next second, he's about to dismantle it. Why is a few minutes? Zhang Xianyu entered the goblin sorcerer's hidden dungeon. Seeing the energy ball in the boss's hand continue to form, Zhang Xianyu decisively gave up on long-range attacks. He drew his dagger and interrupted the boss's casting. Then he cast Fireball, reducing the boss's health by a third. The Curse Master boss was furious. It was about to unleash its ultimate move to take him down. At this critical moment, Wang Kei stepped forward. He interrupted the boss's spell casting. In that instant, Zhang Xianyu's Fireball spell had also finished casting. After a loud explosion, the system prompt sounded. You have defeated the goblin sorcerer. Zhang Xianyu was excitedly about to celebrate. When he saw the dead goblin boss suddenly stand up, he said, "I'm back." Then there would be a battle of the gods, and then it vanished into thin air. Zhang Xianyu was completely dumbfounded by this sudden and unexpected event. Could it be a system bug? The next second he began to check the system rewards on his own. Goblin sorcerers 1. With an attack power of up to 31 points, it's worth a lot. Such outrageous stats in an epic level item. Make it top. But why could not it be traded once bound? Fury Zhang Xianyu is about to smash this damn broken web. Is this damn game insulting me? You have triggered the main storyline. That short sentence instantly calmed Zhang Xianyu down. Could it be the unique storyline created by the game developers? Seeing the trigger for this unique storyline, Zhang Xianyu instantly forgot about his equipment. Even the gacha did not seem appealing anymore. Zhang Xianyu thought, let's just do a quick pull. The unique storyline is the most important thing. A golden light suddenly appeared. Legendary skill transformation. Next, Zhang Xianyu arrived at the storyline episode. He said the quest code word to Rongrong. Rongrong's head lit up with golden light. It seemed that the quest condition was triggered. She then gave Zhang Xianyu a ring. Take it and go search for the trace of the gods. Next up is the only main storyline quest. Can you believe it? The task this woman gave is actually to kill 10,000 hackers. Zhang Xianyu has been playing games his whole life and has never seen such a harsh requirement. But for the top-tier equipment, Zhang Xianyu still gritted his teeth and took it on. Since he left the newbie village, his heart has been very... He did not even have time to appreciate the prosperity of the upper realm town before he hurried off. Capturing the hidden divine beast was only one part of it. The most important thing was to push the plot forward quickly. After all, the mission rewards were too generous. The single ring is already legendary. Not to mention the set bonuses that come with it. Zhang Xianyu thought to himself, secretly feeling pleased. He continued to weave through the narrow alley. Finally, he arrived at Pissy Shihelen's residence. As soon as he entered, she started with an intimidating stance, startling him. Without saying a word, Zhang Xianyu took out the ring to show her. With the sound indicating task completion, Zhang Xianyu still felt a little anticipation for the next task. But then he heard Shihelen snort coldly. Go outside the town and catch me 10,000 half-orcs. Zhang Xianyu was instantly dumbfounded. Is not this too ridiculous? But in order to advance the storyline, he could only helplessly agree. The next moment, he was kicked out of the room by Shihelen. At this moment, the system issued the task details. Hunt the attain fragments of the nameless god. It turns out the fragments are randomly dropped by the half-orcs. The probability is only 0.01%. That's why Shihelen made the request for 10,000. But Jianyu possesses the ability to see hidden system information. As long as he finds the one that holds the fragment, it's fine. But coincidentally, there's a team attacking that one. The fierce half-orcs are going all out. Time seems indistinguishable, no beginning or end. Just as Zhang Xianyu was worried about how to get the shards, the tank responsible for aggro suddenly got forcibly logged off. The main damage dealer was also taken out immediately. The squad panicked in an instant. In this life or death moment of the wipe, Zhang Xianyu decisively stepped in and saved them. Now this half-orc is mine. Can you believe it? This large and powerful half-orc is being led around by a little dog. Wonka has the strongest divine beast, although not yet in its evolved form, still has considerable offensive capabilities. Plus Zhang Xianyu occasionally lets loose a cold arrow. The lone half-orc falls to Zhang Xianyu, defeated under the onslaught of ice and fire. Accompanied by the system's kill notification, the newbie Xiaozi whom he saved hurriedly bowed to express his gratitude. Zhang Xianyu outwardly showed humility, saying they should help each other. But inwardly he was extremely anxious. After all, they were the ones who attacked the monster first, and had priority to the loot. He wanted to obtain the dropped items, fragments of the nameless god. Zhang Xianyu can only put on a good show. So Zhang Xianyu announced that he was doing a live stream. He directed and acted in what the audience wanted to see drop as props. The new players exchanged looks with each other. They readily handed over the prop rights to Zhang Xianyu. As Zhang Xianyu smoothly expressed his gratitude for their support, thanks to them, this group of kind-hearted players. Only then he obtained the item rights, with the items being activated. Besides the quest item fragment of the nameless god, the rest were just some ordinary materials and equipment. After Zhang Xianyu distributed the items to them, he immediately rushed to the quest location. An NPC looked at the fragment before him and muttered, "Your luck is quite good." Zhang Xianyu chuckled. Thanks to my ability to see the system's hidden information, with the completion of the task, Zhang Xianyu's level was raised. He also got a chance to draw a card. In the vast sea of cards he immediately saw that golden legendary card, even more a poem level skill, throwing ability. The farther the distance, the higher the attack power. It is very effective against large wild monsters. At this moment, the NPC issued the latest main quest. Craft a ring using fragments. Disguise as a follower and enter the altar of the nameless god. Discovered sea. Although the quest is extremely dangerous, the reward is still unclear, but Jianyu possesses the ability to see through the system's hidden information. He activates his ability, and the reward turns out to be this small visible hole is actually the entrance to a hidden dungeon. If it were not for Wang Kai's sharp sense of smell, it's estimated that Zhang Xianyu will never find it in his lifetime. Although the entrance is surprisingly small, the dungeon level is ridiculously high. It's actually the highest level legendary difficulty, and only players below level 20 can enter. The boss in the dungeon must also be ridiculously strong. With his current level of 11, even with the most meticulous control, it's also very difficult to clear legendary difficulty dungeons. So Zhang Xianyu decided to level up first. With the epic staff and the help of the divine beast, Xingxianyu believed he should level up pretty quickly. Inside the full-smelling forest, some ordinary players were desperately grinding levels. The sounds of their complaints rose and fell incessantly. The coordination of the temporarily formed team was clearly not very high. Think back to 5 years ago when I first participated in a team battle. I was completely flustered. Not long after, the emergence of pay-to-win players led to a widening gap between players. Back then, Zhang Haiyanwu was incredibly annoyed by pay-to-win players. Now, unbelievably, he's become one of them. Zhang Haiyanwu spotted a lone half-orc. "You're out of luck running into me." Xingxianyu was seen knocking an arrow and firing. The moment the ice arrow hit the half-orc, it lost its fighting ability. Then a fireball was thrown. As Xingxianyu soloed in the forest for several days like that, to the point that legends about him spread among the people. A mage single-handedly killed half-orcs for days. As the name suggests, he's a swordsman who finishes with one combo. Many people guess that Xingxianyu is a rich second-generation heir from a wealthy family. If they kill him, they're sure to get a lot of good equipment. Xingxianyu is unaware of these people's thoughts. He just feels a little itch in his ear. The orc has already charged forward. Xingxianyu chuckled. A fireball formed in his hand, immediately followed by a home run. The orc crashed to the ground. "Congratulations, you reached level 20. Xingxianyu eagerly opened the level-up reward card. "I hope this time I'll get a legendary card." After all, from level 11 until now, he has not gotten a single useful card. The next second, both man and dog were dumbfounded. Pay attention. This man, because he looted an epic piece of equipment, is going to treat the whole village to a feast. Only the main character is unenthusiastic. Of course, not envy or jealousy. It's because epic level equipment is too ordinary for him. Just now, Dragon's Majesty. Within a certain range, enemies take 10% more damage. This means that in addition to his own increased damage, players fighting alongside him will also enjoy this bonus. Even with this skill, joining a union would be enough for retirement. With a little more effort, maybe I could become CEO, marry a rich and beautiful woman, and reach the peak of life. Although I think this way, Xingxianyu is a person with grand ambitions. A legendary skill card is not enough to satisfy him. Clear the hidden dungeon. There might be even stronger rewards. Xingxianyu opened his backpack and put on the ring made from the nameless god fragment. This is the key to enter the dungeon. Xingxianyu reached his arm into the hole and began to rummage. Suddenly, the ring emitted a dazzling light. You've touched the copy's boundary. You are qualified to enter. Then the cave entrance instantly collapsed. Stone steps appeared out of nowhere. Quickly, a strange entrance appeared before them. Xingxianyu chuckled. He led Wang Kai inside without looking back. With his previous experience dealing with the half-beasts, the small monsters in the dungeon seemed fierce, but actually posed no real threat to Xingxianyu. With his excellent coordination with Wang Kai, they quickly cleared the small monsters. Next it was time to deal with the boss. Xingxianyu slowly pushed open the stone door. Immediately a full stench hit him in the face. All the stats have decreased by 10%. Looking further ahead, a lump of flesh is constantly squirming. It eventually forms a decaying half-orc, but this boss has way too much health. It must have at least 30 times the health of a normal half-orc. The boss slowly raises its arm, then slams it. The ground was instantly smashed, creating a large pit. It was clear that the force was extraordinary, but the speed seemed a bit lacking. Xingxianyu easily dodged the boss's palm strike. He laughed heartily. Now was his turn. A fireball began to form in his palm. He immediately hurled it at the boss's head. After the explosion sound of the array, the boss's health bar only dropped a little. You have to know that he is equipped with full epic gear, and is a player with legendary skills. The boss's defense is terrifyingly strong, but since we can break through his defense, defeating him is just a matter of time. Not sure how much time has passed. The cave suddenly fell silent. Even Wang Kai, usually so lively, collapsed on the ground, exhausted. Then a system message appeared. You have successfully defeated the rotten halfling. Rune reward obtained. All ability values increased by 3%. This man had just cleared the dungeon. The defeated boss behind him suddenly began to writhe. This sudden scene scared Xingxianyu out of his wits. However, strangely, the boss did not launch an attack. Since said something strange, it was because of this phrase that completely shattered Xingxianyu's perception. Do you really want it? A weapon that could even end myths? You know, based on the current progress of the game, the strongest equipment is still the legendary tier. Although there were media speculations earlier, and questions raised to the developers, their response was, who knows, maybe it really exists. Since the official response at the time was uncertain, and no one later discovered any mythical tier items, it eventually turned out to be a false rumor. But based on the current information, the rumors might actually be true. So Xingxianyu, filled with doubt, arrived at the mission issuer Shihulin's place. Before he could ask, Shihulin threw a skill book at him. You did well on the mission. This is your reward. Although he did not really want it, his body was honest. Put in the book away, he said. That's not what I wanted to ask. Shihulin interrupted him again. Do you have any questions about the rotting halfling? Xingxianyu looked speechless. Can you let me finish? Alright, it seems you're interested in that weapon. Xingxianyu was shocked. It seems the rumors are true. However, Helen did not give him a direct answer. She only asked him to complete a task. Once the task is completed, she will tell him everything. The task is to capture the half-orc killer. It is indeed a key quest to prove the player's skill and value. It's clear the strategy is incredibly difficult. It's impossible for Zhang Xianyu to clear it alone. Does he need to team up with other players? Zhang Xianyu is a veteran lone wolf player. This decision seems to trouble him. I wonder how Wang Kai is doing. Let's go see him. Looking at Wang Kai full of energy, Zhang Xianyu was filled with mixed emotion. His growth along the way could not have happened without Wang Kai's company. At that moment, a new task notification appeared. Driven by curiosity, Zhang Xianyu opened the task details. What he saw completely stunned him. Is actually Wang Kai's evolution task. He only needed to deliver the final blow to 444 monsters to complete the evolution. Not only does it improve stats, but it also allows you to learn new skills. Zhang Xianyu excitedly hugged Wang Kai. Wang Kai evolved. Maybe the two of them can solo the Slayer Orc together. If the reward skill is epic, that would be the icing on the cake. Let's try out the legendary skill Helen gave me. Knowing the enemy's vital points, magic skills hitting vital points will deal critical damage. Zhang Xianyu looked at the unlucky guy in front of him. Let's try the effect of Dragon's Eye on you. Watch closely, a half-orc that usually requires a whole squad to defeat. This man can easily take down with a single fireball. Because he possesses two amazing skills. The farther the distance, the greater the damage. For Zheng Haiyan-Wu, a professional baseball player, long-distance precision throws are a piece of cake. He can spot an enemy's weakness and deliver a fatal blow. Zheng Haiyan-Wu, thanks to the perfect combination of his two skills, and his precise throwing ability, annihilated the halfling with a single fireball. Zheng Haiyan-Wu therefore obtained the title of one-hit kill and the generous rune rewards. Although the newly acquired skill effect is quite good, Wang Kai is nearby, seems unwilling. You promised that I would deliver the fatal blow to complete the evolution. So the man and his dog began their path to evolution. With the 444th half-orc falling, Wang Kai finally met the evolution condition. A golden light radiated from its body. Then his body began to grow continuously. His fur also became much thicker. Under the eager expectation of Zhang Xianyu, the old father, Wang Kai finally completed his first evolution. Congratulations on gaining new power. Please choose a new ability for your divine beast. It's a familiar card drawing segment again. So Zhang Xianyu found a golden legendary card in the sea of cards. This is actually the skill. I never expected to get it here. With this, killing the slaughter orc should be much easier. Outside the slaughter dungeon, a group of players are still waiting in line. Among them are elite teams from top guilds. Have you heard? Someone inside is attempting to solo the dungeon. Soloing the dungeon is not that seeking death. Inside the dungeon, the butcher swings his giant axe with bloodshot eyes, but Zhang Xianyu in front of him remains motionless. He shows no intention of dodging. Wang Kai lets out a loud roar. He activates the skill Life or Death Judgment, mocking the enemy in front of him for attacking him. Immediately after, the butcher, with his giant tower-like figure, suddenly halted. He turned around and launched an attack on Wang Kai. Now Zhang Xianyu was free to deal damage. The boss's weak spot on the back of his head was fully exposed, so Zhang Xianyu cast Fireball, delivering a fatal blow. After the huge explosion, the boss's health dropped by a third. At the same time, the groups outside the instance are still fiercely mocking Zhang Xianyu's solo run. They are relentlessly taunting him. It's impossible for the slaughterer, in enraged mode, to be cleared by one person alone. This is undeniable. But Zhang Xianyu is not fighting alone. With a fireball striking a vital point, the slaughterer finally enters enraged mode. The crimson aura sends chills down one's spine. Wang Kai seemed to sense the danger. After its rampage, the killer's attributes had all been significantly improved. It chased Wang Kai, hacking at him all the way. But was Wang Kai really running aimlessly? He stepped into a trap that had been set long ago. The immobile boss was like a fish on a chopping block, the mercy of others. Then Zhang Xianyu used all his strength. I threw a fireball at the boss's weak point from an extremely long distance. The gods waged war, utilizing all things in the world. Many dedicated themselves to the battlefield for their worshipped gods. Some of them achieved legendary feats. But only one person achieved an unparalleled feat. That person created an invincible myth of 100 victories. He for his worshipped god achieved glorious military exploits in the war. However, his tireless efforts failed to quell the endless war. He finally realized, no matter how many battles he won, he still could not completely end the war of the gods. So he began searching for a great power that transcended legend. Something that could end this never-ending war. Myriad Gods level. A weapon that could subdue even the gods, capable of killing even gods. This is the origin of the god tier item. Zheng Haiyan-Wu cast an ultra-long-range fireball, killing the slaughterer halfling, and rushed back to Nimpe's Cheryl to turn in the quest. He not only learned the story behind the god tier item, but also received a valuable ring. Its stats are the highest among legendary items. Cheryl watched Zheng Haiyan-Wu's silly grin. He said helplessly, "Do not you want to know what happens next in the story? How could Zhang Xianyu miss such a great opportunity? He eagerly waited for She-Helen's next words. Then She-Helen released another main quest. Kill 1,000 zombies in the cursed forest. As Zhang Xianyu smugly thought it was just like last time, it was to find the monster that hid a secret item. But the next second Zhang Xianyu was stunned, because this time he really had to kill 1,000 monsters. How long is this going to take? Zhang Xianyu left the game world with a worried expression. At that moment he received a call from his little niece, thinking of her innocent and bright smile. Zhang Xianyu was instantly full of motivation. It's just 1,000 monsters after all. It's over for the liver. At the same time, Global T updated a new video. It stirred up big shots from all sides. By the time Zhang Xianyu found out about this news, it was already early the next morning. Confused, Zhang Xianyu asked what kind of video could be so popular. The internet cafe owner explained it was about a second-generation rich kid, soloing a boss with high-level equipment. Zhang Xianyu snorted coldly. These rich second-generation kids are so annoying, they only disrupt the game atmosphere. So what boss did that annoying guy beat? The boss casually said, the slaughter half-orc. This is a cursed forest. Because the monsters are ferocious, few people dare to go there, and this man moved alone through the forest. Zhang Xianyu notched a nice arrow. Using the dragon's eye to sense the enemy's weakness, with a single shot he killed the zombie halfling. With this one Zhang Xianyu had hunted a total of 74. He still had a significant distance to go before reaching his goal of 1,000. At his usual pace he should have hunted around 100 by now. But because he believed in Wang Kai's treasure hunting abilities, he spent a lot of time looking for treasure. Although it was highly likely to be poop, there was still a chance of finding treasure. For example, this time, the valuable black vanilla was a sure win. During Zhang Xianyu's harvesting, Wang Kai seemed to have smelled something incredible again. As I got closer, it turned out to be a bald neps. Zhang Xianyu follows the principle that it's better to have more than less. No matter what kind of task it is, he is always willing to offer help. Of course, it's not for the money. The NPC is a bit speechless from all of his superficial efforts. But since someone is willing to take on the task and help, he is naturally happy. The task contains 100 cursed traces from the zombies. The reward is naturally quite good. An epic skill card is something many people covet. Zhang Xianyu, who was picking black herbs nearby, quickly agreed. Leveling up while doing a quest, why not? So Xianyu began leveling up alone. Soon Zhang Xianyu had defeated 200 zombies. Zhang Xianyu, who originally planned to log off and take a break, saw Wang Kai's big watery eyes. In the hesitation, it seemed like Wang Kai had found another treasure. Upon closer inspection, it turned out to be another pile of poop. After his break, Zhang Xianyu logged back in and encountered another NPC, Jack. He received a quest to earn a rare skill card as a reward. With 3 quests to complete at once, Zhang Xianyu was full of energy. The task was completed quickly. He returned to the town and found Jack. After delivering the task, he brought Wang Kai to an open area. He opened the skill card and selected a Fire Elemental Master skill. It not only increased fire elemental spell damage, but also reduced cooldown and casting time. It was clearly a great skill. Perhaps he should also activate the epic skill given by the bald guy. Watch closely, this man is laughing maniacally. The people around him think he's gone mad, but only Zhang Xianyu himself knows. He drew something incredible. Power Star. When standing still and performing magic attacks, the damage will increase. Furthermore, the cooldown and casting time of magic will be reduced. Such a powerful skill is naturally worth a lot. Zhang Xianyu opened a trading website to check. Just as he was hesitating whether to sell it to ease his financial pressure, he suddenly noticed a few messages. They were from well-known companies wanting to sign a contract with him. The reason was simply that his video of soloing the boss had caused a huge stir online. They all wanted to ride the wave of his popularity. One company even offered to buy the video for $10,000. Zhang Xianyu slapped his forehead. Could this company be a scammer? But on closer inspection, Shining Star Company was an officially verified account. Zhang Xianyu replied, Manhwa at Shining Star. Some people think the amount of money given to Zhang Xianyu is a bit too much and does not match his actual value. After all, he can only solo dungeons by relying on top-tier gear, mythical beast, and skills rather than solid technical ability. But the boss, Park Yeon-jun, believes Zhang Xianyu must be a rich second generation and is just trying to attract attention this way, since he can spend so much money in the game. The scale of working capital should be at least around 50 million. Forming a friendship with this kind of rich man, what's $10,000 worth? Once he gets close to the wealthy Zhang Xianyu, he'll squeeze him dry. Zhang Xianyu, of course, has no idea of Park Yeon-jun's plans. This broke guy only wants to complete his mission and make some money. He's relying on the skill effect of the Power Star. As Zhang Xianyu slaughtered the monsters like chopping vegetables, he quickly completed the task requirement of 1,000 zombies. Thinking back to the previous main quest, plus this time's clearing of small monsters, the next task should be to go to the cursed forest to catch the boss, right? And also receive the reward for this task. He returned to MP Shilin. Sure enough, the next task was to investigate the reason for the forest's curse, but She-Helen did not mention anything about the reward. Zhang Xianyu hurriedly called out to Miss She, worked very hard brushing 1,000 zombie accounts. He only received a blank stare from Miss Shi in return. Zhang Xianyu was struck like lightning. The system cannot be malfunctioning, can it? Shi Helen was quite satisfied seeing his embarrassed state. He turned around and gave him a skill book. Zhang Xianyu was instantly overjoyed. Thank you, boss, for the reward. Immediately, Zhang Xianyu eagerly opened the skill book. It was actually dual casting. This is a legendary skill card worth 500,000, and it's priceless. Zhang Xianyu has 3 more skill cards of this level, but because of the bound account, he cannot trade. So while it seems like Zhang Xianyu is rolling in money, he's actually broke. Making money through videos is currently his only way of earning. Just recently, Shining Star Company paid a high price to acquire the copyright for his video of soloing a boss. Now they plan to spend $12,950 to hire Zhang Xianyu to make a solo kill video of the artifact mage. The reason they spent so much money is because they were certain that Zhang Xianyu would spend even more money buying skills and items. This would create a mutually beneficial business relationship. And indeed, things turned out exactly as they had imagined. The moment Zhang Xianyu received the invitation, he realized that this was an assessment, testing whether he's a worthwhile investment. If he succeeds in soloing the sorcerer this time, he could become a rising star, admired by thousands, so he absolutely must do it. Therefore, he spent a fortune on the Slayer half-orc set, and 2 skill cards. Flash arrows and fire spears are both rare tier attack skills. This time the cost has drained all of his savings. If he fails to successfully kill the Kai-scribing sorcerer, he will have lost both his fortune and his soldiers. However, before that, he still needs to deal with some trouble. Because of the video exposure, Zhang Xianyu has already become the rich second generation in the minds of many players. Many people plan to seize the opportunity to steal the props. Therefore, seeking the protection of the Adventurers Guild is a good strategy. Zhang Xianyu found 2 guild players and chatted with them. He also offered them coffee-flavored potion. Of course, they were just ordinary fatigue-relieving potions. However, in the eyes of other players, this action verified the rumor that Zhang Xianyu is a super VIP of the Adventurers Guild. That's why he's so familiar with the guild players. If anyone bothers Zhang Xianyu again, the Adventurers Guild definitely would not let him off easily. Seeing that he'd achieved his goal, Zhang Xianyu waved goodbye to them and headed towards the location of the Curse Caster. Meanwhile, a team of players attempting to conquer the Kuma Curse Caster were fleeing in disarray, but the next second the sorcerer instantly wiped them out with an elemental explosion. Such a terrifying boss. Can Zhang Xianyu really solo it? Research shows that 50 meters is the maximum attack range for all professions. However, from over 100 meters away, the man's fireball instantly killed the zombie. It's because the man obtained the epic skill power boost. Although it's a designated skill for mage fighters, it does not affect men's use at all. The most precious hidden class, the Grand Mage, can use all magic skills. It's like a bug. Plus, he can see the system's hidden information and can freely choose skill cards. It allows him to be more in his element. The further the throw skill distance, the higher the attack. Dragon's Eye allows him to see enemy weaknesses, dealing fatal damage. Power Star stay stationary. It can increase spell attack power. Combining these skills with strength increases the male protagonist's instant burst power. It's terrifying enough to deliver a one-hit kill. Left hand flashing arrow, right hand fire spear, double casting spells, monster killing efficiency doubled. Others need to team up and cooperate to barely kill a single zombie. The male protagonist only needs to stand still and release one skill to solve it. It seems that having a cheat really allows one to do whatever they want. However, the consequence is mana consumption, increasing at a visible speed. But in the face of rapidly increasing experience points, what does consuming a little blue potion matter? The increased attributes after leveling up give the male protagonist more confidence in killing the cursed sorcerer. Unlike working with a team, where they cooperate with tank, healer, and damage dealer, the male protagonist only has a divine beast by his side. So when facing the sorcerer, he has to end the fight quickly, relying on his long-range spell attacks and critical damage. Maybe I can one-shot the boss. After my solo kill of the Slaughterer half-orc video went viral, this solo run against the sorcerer has attracted a lot of players' attention. If I can successfully kill it, I'll not only receive a substantial reward from my signing company, but also become a shining new star in the God War game. Inside the boss incident, with the effect of Dragon's Eye, the sorcerer's weaknesses are completely exposed. A two-headed, four-armed creature might be slightly more troublesome to deal with, but killing it is just a matter of time. The male protagonist unleashes arrows with his left hand and a fire spear with his right, with all skill buffs active. The fire spear, like an arrow released from a bowstring, whizzes towards the boss. With a paft, it pierces the sorcerer's face, causing it immense pain. The boss enraged, and the protagonist's battle officially begins. Just how outrageous is this man's damage? A basic fireball has already pushed the full health boss into a berserk state, and just now, the cursed mage, who was drawn into hatred by the fire spear, could not find Zhang Xianyu's position. It could only engage in a life-or-death struggle with Wang Kai, who had activated his taunt skill. The dog monster fight was evenly matched, buying Zhang Xianyu a lot of extra casting time. Zhang Xianyu seized the opportunity to activate the dual casting skill effect. Ice arrow in his right hand, flash arrow in his left. He quickly cleared the minions summoned by the boss. Next, it was time to focus on the boss. Zhang Xiani activated the Dragon's Eye effect. The enemy's weaknesses were fully exposed. Various buffs were then applied. The energy of the fireball in hand gathered more and more. The fireball, soon thrown, exploded with a thunderous crash on the enemy's head. It burst open with a piercing scream from the flames. The boss entered the final phase. At this moment, a strange sound in the distance caught Zhang Xianyu's attention. It turned out that someone had been caught by Zhang Xianyu. The terrifying output scared him to the ground. 2 other men were with him. Sneaking around like that, they clearly had bad intentions. The scared man gave a sinister smile, intending to deliver the final blow to the boss and steal the valuable item dropped by the sorcerer. The sorcerer's final stage will activate the summoning corpse's skill. Then the summoned corpses will surround Zhang Haiyan Wu. A ranged mage has no close combat ability. When he's surrounded, that's the best time for them to steal the boss. Zhang Xianyu glanced in the forest, then turned his gaze forward. Once the boss successfully activates its summoning skill, he's in trouble. There's no time left to cast a skill now. Looks like he'll have to use his hidden finishing move. The little Gagas in the forest were secretly relieved at not being discovered. All they had to do was wait for Bei. But the next scene shocked them both. A mage was actually going to attack in close combat. Zhang Xianyu leaped 3 meters, wielding a giant axe and slashing at the boss. The next second, the huge boss was cut in 2. Blood splattered everywhere. How could a magician deal so much damage with an axe? The 2 little Gagas seemed to disbelieve their own eyes. What they did not know was that Zhang Xianyu was a hidden class, a Grand Archmage. Of course, he could use a 2-handed axe as a melee mage. Seeing the boss instantly killed, the few who wanted to loot ran away. Not wanting to stay a moment longer, after obtaining the item dropped by the boss, Zhang Xianyu arrived at Nessa Shilin. The cursed stone slowly flew out of the backpack and landed in Innapi's hands. Shilin initiated purification. The curse on the small stone instantly vanished. She then gave Zhang Xianyu a simple wooden stick. This is your reward. Zhang Xianyu looked puzzled. What kind of reward is this little wooden stick? He opened the item details and saw that it was actually Shilin's wand. It not only had extremely high base attribute bonuses, but also incredibly useful magical properties. Zhang Xianyu is lit up. This was a real treasure. Shilin ignored him and said to herself, this stone is still connected to its true owner. Use it as a company. Find the craftsman Zijia at the Dolly Island mine. Can you believe it? This mighty and powerful divine beast was just a cute clumsy puppy not long ago. The divine beast underwent such a drastic transformation because Zhang Xianyu helped it complete its second evolution task at Dolly Island mine. Dolly Island mine is a special hunting ground filled with various dungeons. There are no wild monsters here. The only way to level up is to team up and clear dungeons. Players below level 40 or those lacking skill will be abandoned. Therefore, the remaining team members are all top-tier players, the best of the best. Zhang Xianyu was one of those abandoned, and only level 30-something. He clearly was not qualified to join a dungeon team. Following the quest instructions, he finally found the craftsman Zijia. Zhang Xianyu took out the cursed stone She Helen had given him, hoping it could be made into a compass. Zijia, who had spent years mining in the mountains, found the work incredibly monotonous. Today he finally opened up. While continuously complaining that Shailen is an exploiter, he praised Zhang Xianyu as an excellent explorer. Zhang Xianyu heard that this NPC seemed to get along well with him. Initial impression full marks. Then Zijia took out a necklace. It's a necklace made of soul metal. It will react to specific things. Zhang Xianyu wondered, could it be that he wants me to mine? Zijia shook his head and said, I'll mine myself. You do not need to do the physical labor. Zhang Xianyu was overjoyed. This bearded dwarf is a good person, unlike Xialin who exploits laborers, but I need you to clean up the surrounding dungeons. Not much, just 111 of them. Zia's words completely crushed Zhang Xianyu. Impression score minus 100 points. Sure enough, all the PCs are devils. But since I'm here, I might as well make the best of it. I'll take this opportunity to record a solo run of the mine dungeon video. Making some extra cash would not be bad. Do not you think so, Wang Kai? Zhang Xianyu turned his gaze towards Wang Kai. He noticed a new quest prompt above its head. He did not expect the second evolution quest to come so quickly. Outside the instance, Xianyu applied all the buffs to Wang Kai. He gave him all the potions that increased stats. However, he was still a bit uneasy, because this evolution quest was even more difficult than the last one. Hunt 99 monsters higher than the divine beast's level on your own. This meant Wang Kai would have to level up alone. He could only cheer from the sidelines, but just in case, he had to be ready to intervene at any moment. A failed solo kill is better than getting injured. After walking forward a short while, he saw a group of goblin miners. With a roar, Wang Kai pounced on them. After a series of bites, the goblin was dead. Zhang Xianyu breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed he had worried too much. Wang Kai's abilities were also not to be underestimated. Thus, they quickly completed the task of killing 99. The power of the divine seat boiled within Wang Kai. Accompanied by a flash of golden light, it gained new power. It also gained new abilities. It's time for the familiar card draw session. A golden legendary card stands out. Legendary skill Lightning Flash. It significantly increases attack and movement speed within 5 minutes. Wang Kai's strength has reached a whole new level. This is equipment that was discarded by men. Unexpectedly, it has caused a huge stir online. Even Asmo, known as a collector, I have never seen this staff before. Asmo is a legendary figure who possesses all the items and skill cards in the divine battle. Because of Asmo's appearance, the video copyright holders decided to redistribute the profit shares with Zhang Xianyu. The original 50-50 split was changed to 60-40, with Zhang Xianyu getting 60 and them 40, in an attempt to retain Zhang Xianyu, the future star of the God Wars. At this moment, Zhang Xianyu is holding the divine beast and crying uncontrollably. It's not because of the 60% profit share, but because the evolved divine beast can now kill monsters 9 seconds faster. Its immense power increase made him overwhelmed with joy. He immediately picked up the sacred beast and rushed toward the entrance of the mine. This strange behavior made others think he was just a fool. Little did they know that the mine entrance was the entrance to a hidden dungeon. Ordinary players would never discover it, let alone the boss of the hidden dungeon. It's a level 42 mole dog. It can move quickly between burrows, making its attack patterns difficult to predict. But Zhang Xianyu is not an ordinary player. For him, who can see the system's hidden information, the boss's movement trajectory is clearly visible. Before it even revealed itself, an ice arrow had already arrived. With a loud bang, the boss died instantly. 999 dungeon reward skill cards appeared before him. The originally invisible card contents were exposed to him. Various high-level skill cards were available for him to choose from. After careful selection, Zhang Xianyu obtained a card named Flash Shield. After use, it can generate an electrified protective film. It's perfect for equipping the brave mythical beasts. Watching the mythical beast grow rapidly, Zhang Xianyu suddenly had an idea. Why not let it complete the timed mission of the dungeon alone? As long as the mythical beast refreshes the dungeon completion record, he can become famous. But before that, he's still missing a key skill. So after Zhang Xianyu logged out of the game, he spent 4 months' worth of living expenses in the shop to buy it. The record holder for the mining dungeon is the Sword Emperor with a legendary weapon. Although 4 minutes and 11 seconds is a record from long ago, Zhang Xianyu does not expect to break the record. As long as he gets a similar result, that's fine. So he applied all the buffs and potions to the divine beast. Then he pressed the record button. The divine beast on camera activated lightning flash. Within 5 minutes, its attack power and movement speed increased significantly. It then swiftly maneuvered between the little chicks. Each strike was followed by a little chick dodging. Continuing at this pace, breaking the record is not impossible. With the last little falling to the ground, the divine beast let out a long howl to the sky. So how long did the divine beast take to solo this instance this time? Let's find out. This man can see the system's hidden information. He unexpectedly discovered that battle pets can actually evolve. After evolving, the battle pet not only speaks fluent Mandarin, the little dog remains silent. It can only bark a couple of times to express its dissatisfaction. Just now, as Zhang Xianyu arrived at the swamp following the compass's directions, the deep and wide swamp here will trap the player's footsteps. At the same time, the monster's movement speed will be slowed down, but for someone like Zhang Xianyu who stands still, his combat power actually becomes stronger. This is the perfect spot. The monsters are like moving targets. He only needs the simplest fireball spell to easily take them down. Soon Zhang Xianyu arrived at the lizard monster's lair. This time the main quest was to clear out the 1998 lizard monsters inside the lair. With just himself and Wang Kai, it was unclear when they'd finish. I guess it's time to use the Guardian card. Zhang Xianyu walked to the 101st lizard monster he had killed. He raised his wand. My servant. A gleam flashed in the lizard monster's eyes. It stood up with a thud. From then on he had another companion by his side. Just then, the question mark above the lizard monster caught his attention. So battle pets can trigger hidden quests? But the resurrected lizard monster was fighting alongside other monsters. However, it was only defending continuously. It showed no intention of attacking. It turns out the lizard monster's evolution condition is to remain stationary and defend for 33 minutes. As time. In that moment, it suddenly gleamed with golden light. It raised its broken blade with a loud shout for the master. Then with a swift motion, it struck across slash. The small monster was slain. Zhang Xianyu watched the battle pet's sudden surge in power. He's quite satisfied. At this moment, the lizard monster suddenly spoke. Please give me a name. I will use this name to unleash my full power. Zhang Xianyu thought for a moment. Let's call you a Jin. It means diamond but a monster, which implies great strength. The Jin lowered its head deeply. It was quite pleased with this name. Then it said, please give the new command, master. I will prove that I'm 100 times stronger than this little weak animal. Wang standing nearby was confused. How come I get caught in the crossfire even when I'm lying down? Unfortunately, Wang Kai could only bark. Otherwise, the two of them will just become a little theater. A Jin has excellent combat abilities. Now there are 3 damage dealers in the team. There was once a valuable opportunity right in front of him, because he hesitated over the price. The Grime skill card was snatched away by someone else. Who knows when he will get this skill card again? At this moment, his phone received an email. Shining New Star has gifted you the Grim Summon skill. Men are able to see the system's hidden information. By accident, the conditions for hatching a dragon egg were unlocked. After successful hatching, it will be the first dragon divine beast in the divine war. Just now, Zhang Xianyu was still troubled about how to clear the lizard monster's lair. Then he received a gift of goodwill from the guild, the legendary skill card Grim Summon, the toughest tank in the god battle. Although the summoned Grime's duration is not very long, with the help of the other 2 companions, they quickly cleared out 1998 monsters from the nest, and Zhang Xianyu only needed to casually throw some skills to easily clear the level. However, the conflict between the divine beast Wang Kai and the lizardman Jin in the team is still escalating. The 2 attendants' competition for favor is giving Zhang Xianyu quite a headache. Just then, the cursed necklace slowly floated up, pointing to the distance. Drawing closer, a dragon egg stood in the center of the altar. The power of the nameless god, mentioned in the hatching conditions, is closely related to the main quest, so Zhang Xianyu decided to return to the city to find an NPC and inquire about the situation. He also planned to collect the legendary skill card reward from the instance dungeon, but he did not know that a crisis was quietly approaching. In the darkness, an archer lay in wait on the inevitable path back to the city, until Zhang Xianyu entered hunting range. The man knocked an arrow and shot. His movements were smooth and efficient. A Jin usually alert. He raised his shield, blocking the deadly arrow. Seeing his first shot fail, the man showed no panic. He drew his bow again, preparing a second shot. After all, this is swamp land. Finding his location is not easy. The next second, a fireball flies towards him, after a huge explosion. The man's hairstyle is still intact. Once he regains his senses, he realizes something is terribly wrong. Just as he tries to escape, he notices a pair of eerie blue eyes watching him from the jungle. The man feels a chill run down his back. Immediately, an ice arrow struck his back. That certainly felt like a chill to the bone. Then Wang Kai suddenly darted out from the jungle. He immediately knocked the man to the ground. Zhang Xianyu thought who would be so bold as to ambush him. But when he saw the man's name, he was terrified. He hurriedly asked Wang Kai to spare him. This man cannot be killed. This man is the top assassin in the league. Now he's being rubbed on the ground by a dog. Lyle, whose assassination failed, thought he could not escape this time. Unexpectedly, Zhang Xianyu had no intention of killing him. Lyle looked bewildered. Then Zhang Xianyu said that he and his boss Drunkard were old acquaintances. This time, let's forget about it. Lyle let out a sigh of relief after hearing that. Just as he thought the matter was settled, Zhang Xianyu casually said, sneaking around behind the guild earning extra by King. I wonder what your boss would think if he found out. Lyle broke out in a cold sweat when he heard that King for extra money is strictly forbidden by the guild. If the guild finds out, he's finished. Immediately Lyle knelt on both knees, begging for forgiveness from the man before him. He then took out a bow and arrow and offered it to Zhang Xianyu, hoping he would spare his life. Zhang Xianyu put away the bow and arrow, smiling slightly. Just consider your assassination attempt a failure, and that you escaped successfully. I would not mention to anyone that I met you here today. After Lyle left, Zhang Xianyu suddenly collapsed to the ground. In fact, he did not know the so-called drunkard. The reason he did not kill him was because he did not want to provoke a large guild. However, getting the bow worth $40,000 was an unexpected gain. Normally wizards do not use bows. But this Vegas bow is a bit special. It is a bow with a powerful skill attached. As long as the first attack hits the target, subsequent attacks will automatically hit critical points. Can also add magical effects. With the Mental Force skill, you can freely switch between the staff and the bow. It's simply perfect. Thus the assassination incident comes to an end. Zhang Xianyu plans to return to the city. He will continue exploring the secrets of the dragon egg. Inside the Lord's mansion he met Shi-Helen and the city Lord Weijia. Zhang Xianyu took out the dragon egg from his backpack. He indicated that the mission was completed. Helen also took out a legendary skill book as a mission reward, just as the two were about to exchange items. Vega suddenly said, "Since you have the ability to find the dragon egg, why do not you investigate the secret of this dragon egg? But before that, you need to prove your strength. Defeat the boss of the swamp, the gem alligator." Xing Xianyu thought, "This is exactly what I want, to hatch the dragon egg. This task?" Immediately the system displayed the task rewards. Kill the gemstone crocodile to obtain Vega's magic staff. There is also a hidden condition to kill the gemstone crocodile solo, to obtain Vega's white magic staff. Although I do not know what's good about the white magic staff, since it's a hidden quest reward, it must be valuable. But before I need to open the skill card I just got. It's best if I draw a mana recovery skill. Streaks of golden light flashed past. A divine dragon magic card caught his attention. Xing Xianyu was overjoyed. It's exactly what he wished for. Just then, Wang Kai suddenly started barking furiously at another card. Xing Xianyu looked closely. My god, it's this amazing card. Watch closely. World absorption magic. But the man did not hesitate to give it up and chose another card instead, because it's one of the most powerful skills for a magician, worth 6 million yet priceless. The only one in the world collected by Asmo, the legendary God War Tycoon. Since the God War game came out, live streaming is the hottest content, but all sorts of things can happen during a live stream. The major guilds naturally are not afraid. If troublemakers appear, they will publicly execute them in front of tens of thousands of viewers, make an example of them. But someone like Xing Xianyu soloing dungeons and daring a live stream is rare. At this moment, a group of players was slowly approaching him. In contrast, Xing Xianyu was not panicking at all. Instead, he seemed a little excited. Although it was his first time streaming, the popularity from his previous videos with millions of views had built up some anticipation. He was hoping this stream would attract over 1,000 viewers. With high expectations, Xing Xianyu hit the start stream button. Unexpectedly, he was instantly overwhelmed by fan interactions flooding the screen. The number of viewers just broke 1,000. It even directly reached 10,000 popularity points. Xing Xianyu calmed his excitement. The content of his live stream this time was Summon the Swamp Boss, the Jewel Crocodile. He would attempt to break the 10-minute completion record. The Jewel Crocodile changes its battle mode, depending on the color of the jewels on its back. Yellow represents safety, red represents entering combat mode, black represents activating the swamp diving skill. Not only can players not attack it, but also regenerates AP during the dive. The usual strategy is to wear it down by consuming resources, but Xing Xianyu does not plan to do that. He intends to stack critical hit damage by hitting the gem and kill it. Vega's bow has a special effect where after hitting the target for the first time, subsequent attacks will automatically hit. Combined with the Dragon's Fever skill, it significantly increases the casting speed. Breaking the record should be a breeze. Rocket ice arrows, wind arrows, lightning arrows, fireballs, fire spears. Xing Xianyu fires the skills all at once with his bow. The boss flails wildly. It's about to take down this fast-shooting man. How could Xing Xianyu let him have his way? The next moment, Glim was summoned and started sumo wrestling with the boss. In just 1 minute, he pushed the boss into the second phase. The gem emitted a dazzling black light. At this point, nearby players who were planning to steal the kill were also taken aback. How could this man deal such high damage? Would not rushing out get him shot into a beehive? After a moment of hesitation, they decided to wait until Xing Xianyu's magic was almost depleted during his skill cooldown before attacking, but Xing Xianyu had already seen through their plan. He immediately stopped fighting to recover his magic, leaving his subordinates to grapple with them. He could just watch from the sidelines. Just then, a system prompt suddenly appeared. This is $1 million gemstone. It is embedded in the back of a giant crocodile. Most people want to pry it off to get rich, but this man is determined to shatter it. Because every time he attacks the gemstone, it deals critical damage to the crocodile boss. Just now Xianyu received a 1,000 sponsorship from Asmo, so he decided to present Asmo with a visual feast. As a mage, he dared to get close to the boss. Although live broadcast was at full intensity, it made many viewers think he was just putting on a show to attract attention. At that moment, the giant crocodile also entered a berserk state. It quickly threw Grime to the ground with a shoulder throw. Then, with a tail swipe, it knocked Grime out of the fight. As Grime turned to dust, the barrier between Xing Xianyu and the boss disappeared. Just when the audience thought this battle was about to end, Xing Xianyu grinned. Everything was part of the plan. In the next second, several barks drew the boss's attention. It turned out that Wang Kai had activated the Divine Beast's unique skill, Life and Death Decision. It can 100% divert the monster's attention, just as the boss moved its bulky body toward Wang. Xing Xianyu seized the opportunity to activate the skill Dragon Fever again. The casting speed of the skill was greatly increased. Immediately, arrows of various attributes rained down like meteor showers on the gemstone. At this moment, the boss looked like a walking sandbag, with the final rocket hitting. The gemstone shattered in response. The boss's life ended on the spot. At this moment, the viewers in the livestream room were all thrilled after watching the series of moves. They had originally thought he was just a rich second generation, but did not expect his skills to be quite spectacular. Many fans even started offering financial support. Meanwhile, the nearby players were watching intently. Seeing that they could not defeat the boss, They all returned reluctantly. This 7-minute boss fight not only broke the record for clearing the dungeon, but also boosted Jing Xianyu's popularity. Even when he returned to the town, many people greeted him. In order to further increase his popularity, Jing Xianyu decided to release an even more explosive piece of news. He was going to obtain an unprecedented, equip Viga's white wand. The players present all looked puzzled. "Do not you mean Viga's wand? All it's a very expensive item. It's not unprecedented." Jing Xianyu smiled slightly. "This one is the world's first. As for the item's attributes and performance, we'll see then. It will be announced through the Union channel." He finished speaking and turned to walk into the Lord's mansion, leaving behind a group of stunned people. Inside the mansion, the Lord handed over Viga's wand to Jing Xianyu. "This is your reward." Jing Xianyu was struck dumb. "Where's the magic wand I was promised?" Just as he thought he had misread the quest reward, and when he regretted his speech in the square, that ordinary wand suddenly emitted a dazzling light. This level 45 wand possessed the attributes of a level 150 item. Because it was an item once used by the city lord, it possessed a very mysterious power. Zheng Haiyanwu received the wand with trembling hands. All its attributes were excellent, and it could also increase magic attack power on the next attack. But just this panel was not enough to make his jaw drop. The greatest feature of this magic wand is that after equipping it, he can increase the number of spells he can cast simultaneously by 1. Even more terrifying is this attribute. It can actually be used in conjunction with skills. Combined with his existing skill, double casting, Jing Xianyu can currently cast 3 spells simultaneously. This means his attack efficiency can be increased by more than 3 times. Jing Xianyu was in a great mood after acquiring the new weapon. Without hesitation, he accepted the new mission assigned by the city lord. At the same time, Jing Xianyu noticed through the system's eye that Wang Ke and a Jin had both gained another opportunity for evolution. Wang Ke only needed to hunt 5,678 monsters that were higher level than itself to evolve, and a Jin just needed to hunt 5,555 monsters with its master to evolve. You can raise loyalty to level 7. After loyalty increases, it not only improves combat ability, but also allows for more intimate conversations and learning of stronger skills. Although the number 5,000 overwhelmed Jing Xianyu, the reassuring thing is that the evolution occurred before heading to the new region. Once you move to the Tonga Kingdom, higher level players may immediately attack them. It is clearly necessary to increase strength as soon as possible. The giant forest is the last area of Viga City. After completing the tasks here, it's time to say goodbye to Viga. The main monster here is Teko. From its appearance, it looks no different from ordinary trees. Its camouflage has caused many adventurers to suffer. But Jing Xianyu does not have this problem. Being able to detect hidden information is practically cheating. Through the system's eye, it's easy to see which trees disguise Teko. On the way, luckily, he did not encounter any monsters. His most important task now is to complete the commission given by Lord Vega, find Tamalu in the vast forest. Most people would need a thorough search, but Jing Xianyu's eyes could not only avoid the monsters, but also see the location of the mission hint, so without much effort he found Tamalu of the elven race. Tamalu was also surprised by the man in front of him. Despite being attacked by the T-car, he was still unharmed. It seems he really is a person of extraordinary ability. Immediately after the scenery before him changed, a path of silver light, the elven road, unfolded ahead. Pay attention, an arrow hit the fruit on the tree. In the next moment, the tree turned into a man-eating monster. They are called Teko. Originally just ordinary century-old trees, they were transformed into monsters due to the influence of an unknown divine power. And some of the Teko underwent mutations. They can infinitely split, although their size shrinks each time they split. But for ordinary adventurers, it remains a significant threat. The mutation of the Teko is giving the jungle guardian Tamalu a huge headache, so he commissioned Jing Xianyu to clear out the officials. Before the number of mutations increased further, he also used magic to isolate the area where the mutated Tekels were appearing. The number of mutated Tekels inside has already reached 500. This task is so troublesome that even the guilds are concerned. Normal people definitely would not accept, but Jing Xianyu was not troubled at all. He was even a little excited, because the condition for his pet and attendant to evolve was precisely to kill 5,000 monsters. One mutated car can split into 10. 500 of them can split into 5,000, and the Tekers after splitting are significantly weaker. This kind of elusive task made Jing Xianyu readily agree. Meanwhile, due to Jing Xianyu announcing the existence of the White Wand artifact, major guilds have launched investigations into him. Even the largest guild, Irvis, wants to extract information about Jing Xianyu from the Shining Nova Guild. After all, Shining Nova is the only the guilds Jing Xianyu collaborated with. The guild bosses, to maintain their relationship with Jing Xianyu, decided to revise their profit sharing to 9-1. Though the guild only gets 10%, the intangible wealth Jing Xianyu created is far more than that. In the game, Jing Xianyu looked at the shining new star and the 3 epic skill cards it sent. Combining this with the 9-1 profit sharing mentioned in the email, Jing Xianyu realized it was time to go live. He was going to showcase Viga's white wand. With the press of the live button, the stream's viewership instantly reached tens of thousands. When it was displayed before everyone, it certainly piqued everyone's interest. Everyone was curious about the new weapon's stats. and Xianyu, to showcase its effects, decided to use the special Kakar as a trial subject, while everyone was complaining about this ordinary monster being everywhere in their own yard. The mutated Kakar split in the blink of an eye. No one had ever seen a mutated Kakar before. The bullet comments were full of confused faces. Xianyu saw that the timing was right. He directly demonstrated the unprecedented triple spellcasting to everyone. This forest has 9,999 trees, 500 of them are monsters in disguise, and this man accurately hits monsters with every attack. It's because he possesses eyes that can see the system's hidden information. Xianyu did not start this livestream to show off his woogie abilities. He's doing it to fulfill his promise to decipher the mysterious weapon, the self-enchanting wand. The self-enchanting wand can increase the number of simultaneous spells cast, making many players envious, but most players still wanted to see the power of the new weapon. Some players sent gifts, praying for Xianyu to demonstrate the weapon's performance. Xianyu, sensing the allure of money, was generous with his skills. Fireballs, ice balls, and lightning balls were all released at once. Even if the monster tackle was powerful, it could not withstand such intense firepower. In the blink of an eye, it collapsed, turning into a dead tree. The mutated Takar, the strongest monster in the Vega region, was a terrifying presence to others, but to Xianyu it was just a slow-moving target. Ice spears, ice arrows, and wind arrows, 3 skills converged simultaneously. With one strike he defeated the Tikar that attacked from behind. Looking at the scattered remains of the Tikar, Xianyu was quite satisfied. The performance of the new weapon is even better than he imagined, but at this moment Xianyu has to turn off the live stream. Continuing to fight the same monsters would bore the viewers, which is one reason. More importantly, what comes next requires Wankai and a Jin. They need to hunt monsters to complete the evolution. This is something Xianyu does not want to reveal to the players yet. Then a Jin raises the large gun in his hand. With a sudden leap, he swings the knife and splits a special call in half. Wankai was not willing to show weakness and accelerated towards the monster. With one bite, it grabbed the monster's weak point and drained its health. Meanwhile, Xianyu was responsible for dealing damage from the side. He lowered the monster's health, allowing Wankai and a Jin to land the final blow. With their perfect coordination, they quickly met the evolution conditions. A Jin emitted a golden glow, seeming to possess infinite strength. Then he let out a long howl, and his loyalty finally reached level 7. However, due to the long wind-up time, he was punched into the ground by Takar. After Wankai defeated the last Takar, the power of the divine seat began to surge within him. In the next moment, not only did his size increase significantly, but blue fur also sprouted from the tip of his tail. At the same time, Xianyu reached level 50. He also gained an opportunity to draw a card. What new skill will he acquire this time? The dragon, as the oldest and most mysterious force in the world, is feared by all. However, the man was fortunate enough to obtain the last remaining dragon egg in a secret realm, but the conditions to hatch the egg are hidden within this tree of the century. The Bill tree, originally the guardian spirit of the forest, has already lived for over 10,000 years, but now he's been affected by the nameless god, the most evil force. He's become the monster Bill Carl. Facing this beam, Chung Han-woo is unsure if he can defeat it. After all, defeating this kind of supersized boss usually requires Top Guild's elite team. Chung Han-woo is going solo, so he must be fully prepared. Therefore, he needs more money to buy mana potions. Although Zhang Shini has the best equipment and skills in the game, he looks like a big spender, but in reality he's struggling to make ends meet. Just when he was at his wit's end, his phone dinged, showing a payment of 25,912 yuan. Xianyu was first shocked, then overjoyed. It seems his last livestream was quite successful. Now I finally have the money to buy the potion. Xianyu was secretly delighted, and was about to send a thank you message to the Shining Star Guild, but he never expected to meet her here. The first woman in his life. Walking with their heads down, they bumped into each other. The woman fell to the ground with a thud, but she did not seem to care about her injuries. She reached out to grab the duckbill cap that had fallen on the ground. Xianyu hurriedly apologized while picking up the phone that had been knocked over. In that moment, their fingers accidentally brushed against each other. The woman's face instantly turned red with embarrassment. She quickly grabbed the cap and ran off. Xianyu watched her retreating figure. He mumbled to himself, what a strange person, but he did not know that the woman was actually from the divine battle. The renowned goddess Muse holds the wheel of God in the game, which is also an extremely terrifying power. Muse, who belongs to the Erwas Guild, received a message from the guild leader as soon as she logged in. Her superiors believe that Xianyu is an extremely dangerous individual, and has already threatened the survival of the guild. All members must closely monitor him. Muse had only ever seen him in game videos. Whether he's an extremely dangerous player or not, it does not matter to me anyway. Meanwhile, Xianyu was fully prepared. He logged in the game and entered the frenzied forest. The moment he invaded its territory, Bill Carl's enormous body suddenly shuddered. The boss battle was about to begin. This is a strange big tree, because it not only moves, but also has a strange face. The big tree is at an astonishing level 77 as a regional boss. Meanwhile, Xianyu is only level 50. Looking at the health bar that's thicker than the author's skin, Xianyu could not help but click his tongue. No wonder it's a super large monster, but on the contrary, its movement speed will be very slow. At the same time, Jing Xianyu's system I also detected hidden information about the tree when it drops below 40%. The chop-off branch skill will activate when it drops below 10%. The self-destruct skill will activate. Jing Xianyu silently thanked the system I. Otherwise, this self-destruct skill could catch him off guard and make all his efforts go up in smoke. After adjusting his mindset, Jing Xianyu opened the live stream. Within 2 minutes, the viewer count in the stream reached 400,000. Jing Xianyu did not waste time and shifted the camera to build car. The massive figure combined with six-pack abs was truly visually striking. Everyone found this new boss monster strange and unfamiliar, but from its enormous size, this is definitely not something Jing Xianyu can handle alone. Many people with the mindset of watching a joke laughed and said, "Looks like today's livestream is doomed," but Jing Xianyu paid no attention to any of this because he was determined to break the norm. He bet his half-year living expenses on the potion. Jing Xianyu drank it all without hesitation, gulping it down, plus the mana buffer skill that reduces mana consumption. Next, it's time for the performance. We see Jing Xianyu throw a super long-range fireball. Immediately following it, he casts an ice ball and a lightning ball. Fire spear, ice arrow, lightning arrow. All the skills are like Kadisha rockets. They bombarded Bill Tychel's kidneys. But even so, it could not stop Bill Tree's advance. Soon Jing Xianyu's magic power was completely depleted. He took out a bottle of 1982 green potion. He gulped it down. The barrage went crazy at this moment. He actually drank a potion even more expensive than Laffit in one go. Jing Xianyu did not care at all. While he was replenishing his magic, the Bill Tree had arrived within 50 meters of him. The immense pressure made the audience feel like it had become a horror game. But Jing Xianyu did not retreat even a step. At that moment, Wang Kai used the skill Life and Death Judgment in the completely opposite direction. It guaranteed a 100% hate pull from the monster. The massive body turned around and started moving toward Wang Kai. Jing Xianyu took this opportunity to increase the force of his attack. Bill Tree's hep dropped below 40%. It began using the Chop the Broken Branch skill. The broken branches split into countless small takers and began launching their attacks. At this moment, Wang Kai could only stand still and mock the Bill Tree, and Jing Xianyu could only remain still to restore his magical power. How will Jing Xianyu deal with the attacks from the small takers? The man never expected that simply cutting down a tree would almost cost him his life. If it were not for the mysterious dragon egg inside him, which absorbed the corruption of the evil power, Jing Xianyu is afraid he might lose his life on the spot. The Jing Xianyu who survived the ordeal stared at the dragon egg in front of him, feeling lucky. After absorbing the power of the nameless god, its appearance had undergone slight changes. If it were not for the system's eye, he would not have been able to see that the egg had already hatched 3%. Wang Kai and a Jin stood beside looking puzzled, completely unaware of what had just happened. But Tamaru the elf sensed something was amiss. He felt the egg in his hand held some kind of secret. However, Lord Vigor had been waiting outside for quite some time, so he did not ask further. Vigor looked at Jing Xianyu, who looked exhausted. He asked if something had happened. Jing Xianyu recounted the events without reservation. Perhaps he could get some information from the Lord of Vigor City. You might hear some valuable information. After hearing this, Weijia rubbed his chin and thought for a moment. I just received a letter from the Kingdom of Tunga. Adventurers there have experienced similar events. Not only have there been mutated monsters never seen before, but also the power of the Nameless God has appeared, and the adventurers attacked by the Nameless God's power were not as lucky as you. None of them survived. After Weijia finished speaking, he took a skill book from his clothes and gave it to Jing Xianyu. He then entrusted Jing Xianyu with investigating this matter in the Kingdom of Tunga. To complete this chain of main quests, Jing Xianyu planned to make thorough preparations before heading to the new area. After all, the lowest level there was 100. Jing Xianyu immediately opened the item storage. Last time he had only opened the treasure from Biltical. He chose a wand that increases mana regeneration, thinking about the monsters he would encounter next in the Tunga Kingdom, which are centaurs. If he were to change Akin's appearance and abilities to that of a centaur, a spear would be the most suitable weapon, so he chose a spear, made from the roots of a Biltical tree. Next it was time to draw a skill card. Jing Xianyu silently prayed that he would draw the mana regeneration skill card. At the same time, Wang Kai let out a loud cheer to liven up the atmosphere for the master. As the skill cards appeared one after another in front of him, Jing Xianyu's gaze suddenly went blank. That card had finally appeared. This man could see the hidden information of the system. Therefore, every time he drew a card, he could pick the best one. Jing Xianyu was lucky this time and drew a legendary skill, Divine Drag Magic. It greatly increased his mana regeneration speed. Its importance to a mage is self-evident. Combined with the mana buffer skill and the Bilkar wand, plus the mana regeneration effects of the cursed necklace and the sterling ring, it was difficult for Jing Xianyu to deplete his mana. Now his mana regeneration was terrifyingly high, but as they say, a big tree attracts the wind. Jing Xianyu's extraordinary performance had already attracted the attention of major guilds. Major guilds even offered bounties for Jing Xianyu. Jing Xianyu heard everyone discussing him and could only shake his head helplessly. He was just a small fry. It was not necessary to make such a fuss. But when he heard that his peak videos were being recorded, I was speechless when I heard there was a 500,000 reward. When did I become the target of the top 10 guilds? It seems it's time to quickly improve my level. After all, I'm about to go to the Tunga Kingdom. The level cap there is 100, but moving there will attract many level 100 players to attack me. Explosions echoed throughout the giant's forest. Numerous Zizitechers fell under Zhang Xianyu's relentless attack. Wang Kai and a Jin were not to be outdone, cooperating with Zhang Xianyu's skills and attacking from both sides. Soon Zhang Xianyu's level reached 60. With the leveling up sound effect, Zhang Xianyu stopped this because he not only gained a card draw chance, but more importantly he could finally wear new equipment Dark Diablo set. The 2-piece set increases all stats by 25, the physical and magical attack power of the set is 13, the 4-piece set increases physical and magical defense by 10%, the 5-piece set increases all damage by 10%. This is the strongest set available in the Vega region. Akin looked at his powerful, imposing master with admiration. When will he be able to wear a set like that? Zhang Xianyu seemed to have seen through a Jin's thoughts and gave a slight smile. He turned around and put the Tycho suit on a Jin. A Jin as a guard is different from the other attendants. She is able to wear the player's equipment and weapons. A Jin looked at the luxurious gear and shed tears of gratitude. As expected, you truly know who the real loyal servant is. Wang Kai upon seeing this was not happy. Wang's 2 barks expressed his dissatisfaction, but pets cannot wear props, which left Zhang Xianyu quite helpless. Wang Kai knew his owner's thoughts. He could only whimper a few times to express his slight sadness. It's time to draw a skill card. However, no one expected that the card drawn this time would lead him to make a bold decision. This man could see hidden information in the system, so every time I draw a card I get a top tier 1. However, this time the card I drew was not only unheard of, but also changed his fighting style because of it. In simple terms, it allows you to replenish it by consuming EP. Conversely, you can replenish MP by consuming HEP. It's clearly a skill to use for a lifeline when you're on the verge of death. In terms of practicality, it's not as good as learning a healing skill. Just as Zhang Xianyu was about to sell it to get some money, he suddenly had a flash of inspiration. In God of War, there's a skill called Magic Shield. The shield consumes mana when damaged. If we combine this with a cyclical skill, it would restore AP while consuming mana after the Magic Shield absorbs damage. It would be practically invincible, but the skill card for Magic Shield costs over $15,000. This puts Zhang Xianyu, who's a bit short on cash, in a difficult position. After all, he had just bought 2 Dark Takar sets. Just as Zhang Xianyu was at his wit's end, he received an email, a gift from the boss of the Shining Star channel, a skill card called Magic Shield. It was just what he needed. From then on, Zhang Xianyu had both defense and attack. The Zhang Xianyu's arrival in the Tonga Kingdom instantly drew everyone's attention, not only because of his eye-catching divine beast Wang Kai and lizard guard Jin. More importantly, the rumors about him challenging the top 10 guilds before. People are speculating, could he be planning to declare war directly this time? Just as everyone was about to distance themselves from this madman, Zhang Xianyu suddenly gestured with his finger towards a player. Bastander was startled upon seeing this. I just glanced at him and now he's upset, and he dares to challenge me to a duel with guards standing around. Looks like he's really crazy. Feeling unlucky, Bastander was about to log off and escape. The next second, Zhang Xianyu spread his arms and smiled, welcoming everyone to take a photo. The reason he did this was of course not for fame, but to improve his image as a madman in the eyes of the public. After all, his most important task is the main storyline. He absolutely cannot let such absurd rumors become a stumbling block. However, what he did not know was, at that moment he was already being targeted by a group of high-level players. This man is a celebrity, and every day there are people who want to take pictures with him. Even when he's out hunting in the wild, players ask for photos. But in the next moment, the two suddenly draw their knives and strike at him, because they are hired assassins sent to kill him. Just now, Zhang Xianyu was taking photos with fans in the square, but Wang Kai and Jin stole the spotlight. He did not mind at all because his most important goal was to complete the mission. Meanwhile, the group of assassins were secretly watching him. After interacting with his fans, Zhang Xianyu was heading to the hunting area. The mysterious assassins followed secretly, waiting for the right moment. When Zhang Xianyu arrived at a deserted place, several people emerged, pretending to be fans and approaching him to interact. Little did they know Zhang Xianyu could see hidden information. He had already discovered them and added a bunch of buffs to himself. Even a fool could tell they were up to no good. A few assassins used the excuse of taking a photo to launch their strongest attack. At this distance, even a god could not dodge it. Not to mention Zhang Xianyu was a mage. To be safe, the assassins kept slashing at Zhang Xianyu. But soon they realized something was wrong, because the man in front of them not only had not died, but actually showed a strange smile. Just as the assassins sensed something was off, a scream came from behind. Turning around, his teammate, who had been wrapped up, was ambushed by the mythical beast and the guards. The two assassins were puzzled about how their identities were exposed. They never expected that the man in front of them was a high-level player. Zhang Xianyu activated his magical shield and withstood their attacks. As long as his magical power did not run out, no one could harm him, and now his magical power recovery speed was faster than even gigabit internet. Therefore, Zhang Xianyu was brimming with confidence. He even went live, claiming that if any of the top 10 guilds could defeat him, he would invest 100 million yuan in them, and these assassins were from one of the top 10 guilds, the Snake Guild. After Jin and Wang Kai defeated the hidden priest and mage, they stepped forward to face Zheng Xianyu. The remaining two were surrounded. They knew there was no way out, so they launched a frenzied attack on Zheng Xianyu, but no matter what kind of attack they tried, they could not break his defense. In the end, under the attacks from Wang Kai and a Jin, both of them were knocked out. Zheng Xianyu walked up to them. I wonder if there's anything valuable among the items they dropped. This man, because of his arrogance, was besieged by other guilds. He easily dealt with the dozens of attackers. He did not even bother to carefully select the top-tier equipment scattered on the ground. He casually picked 2 pieces of equipment and left, because there was another group of covetous guild players nearby. Although they were shocked by Zheng Xianyu's skills, it did not mean they would not attack later. To demonstrate sufficient power, Zheng Xianyu decided to put on a spectacular magic show, and the unfortunate victims were the centaurs before him. Little did he know this magic show would change a Jin's life forever. Faced with Xianyu's provocation, the centaurs charged its spears in hand, riding their steeds. Zheng Xianyu instantly conjured a palm thunder, and in a flash, he obliterated the leading centaurs. Various magical skills appeared one after another, knocking them down and throwing them into disarray. The centaurs had never encountered a wizard with such high damage, such lasting power. For a moment, they did not know how to react. Zheng Xianyu did not have time to wait for them to be stunned. He quickly used the Thunder Palm to send the last centaur back to the womb. Although all the centaurs had already been eliminated, but Zheng Xianyu did not relax in the slightest, because next he was about to do something big. He called out Jin over to him. He raised his white magic wand and shouted loudly, "Summon the Guardian." Immediately golden light radiated from Jin. Then Jin's body transformed into a tall and mighty centaur. Of course, the soul remained the same as before Jin, and the weapon he now held was a long spear made from the roots of a bilcarl tree. Although this group of centaurs was easily defeated by Zheng Xianyu, they seemed a bit weak, but in reality they were incredibly strong. It's just that Zheng Xianyu's strength was a bit too overwhelming. Wang Kai was a little surprised to see a Jin in a new guise. It was simply incredible. Zheng Xianyu naturally did not know Wang Kai's thoughts, because next he had to hurry to the Xicheng district, find the quest piece and complete the task. As a golden light flashed, Xianyu, having passed through the teleportation array, met Xicheng City Lord Sijia La, and he was the one who posted this task. The new task was to head to the Golden Plains and investigate the situation, but the hidden content that followed shocked Zheng Xianyu. A one-time clear would reward him with a master-level skill book. Using it, he could directly raise the level of one of his current skills, directly to master level. Since raising a skill to master level requires a lot of time and effort, the value of this book goes without saying. As for the hidden condition of clearing the game without dying once, it was a piece of cake for Zheng Xianyu. Little did he know at this very moment, a conspiracy against Zheng Xianyu was quietly closing in a secret room in a certain country. This man reached level 70 and entered the leaderboard for top players. Other players on the list are all at least level 150, but the protagonist could not feel happy about it at all, because once you make it onto this list, you will be seen as a super potential player by others. For players who want to become famous, defeating Zheng Xianyu, who is only level 70, is undoubtedly a shortcut to quickly make a name for themselves. Zheng Xianyu looks frustrated, wondering how he even made it onto the leaderboard. Could it be that the owner of Shining New Star did this to promote their own popularity? On the other side, the owner of Shining New Star also thinks that Zheng Xianyu is trying to use money to hype himself up. He lets other players attack him to boost his fame. However, that's not actually the case. Zheng Xianyu's rapid rise had already attracted the attention of major guilds. They believed that Zheng Xianyu had disrupted the overall ecosystem that the top 10 guilds had formed during the God War. Therefore, the guild leaders decided to do whatever it takes to hinder Zheng Xianyu's development. They even paid a high price to buy off the ranking operators. Zheng Xianyu was placed on the list. Although he was ranked last, it was enough to provoke jealousy from other non-guild players. Although Zheng Xianyu did not know who was scheming behind the scenes, it seemed he could no longer play the game leisurely. He had to quickly head to the restricted area in the Golden Plains and complete the main quest. Inside the rift of the berry in the restricted area, it exudes an ominous aura. Once you enter through one of the cracks, the entrance disappears. For other players, this could mean there's no way out, but for Zheng Xianyu it's a perfect hunting ground free from interruptions by other players. Zheng Xianyu strides. A gust of black wind sweeps. Both his vision and hearing are severely affected, fighting monsters here that are already difficult to deal with in normal conditions, and doing it without dying once for an instant victory. Such a high level of difficulty, yet Zheng Xianyu was extremely excited. Perhaps only here could he fight to his heart's content. It's also the perfect place to test Jin's new battle form. With that, Zheng Xianyu cast Fireball to kick off the battle. Jin unified his waist and legs, charging ahead with full force. His spear shot out like a dragon. One shot took down a zombie centaur. Wang Kai, not to be outdone, charged the enemy. Drawing aggro with a life or death attack, Zheng Xianyu used this opening to slaughter frantically. Just then, A zombie with red glowing aura caught his attention. This man could see the system's hidden information, so he immediately recognized the red glowing zombie in front of him was the very reason for his journey. As long as he kills it, he can easily obtain the mission item. However, just as the center attendant, Jin, was about to take care of it, Zhang Xiani unexpectedly halted the action. Because once the mission is completed, they will be forcibly teleported out of this hunting ground. It might be ages before they find another place like this, so Zhang Xiani plans to level up here before leaving. Meanwhile, a group of uninvited guests arrived on the Golden Plains. They were well equipped and could easily handle the centers. This also caused dissatisfaction among other low-level players. They were all level 90 players. Yet they came to hunt at a level 70 hunting ground. They were leaving no chance for others. However, these uninvited guests were not ordinary solo players, but it's to hunt down Zhang Xianyu's guild players. Players from different guilds do not get along, but to punish Zhang Xianyu they have to temporarily unite. Just as the top players were wary of each other, someone shouted from afar. That man, he's appeared. The top players instantly entered combat mode, because this man is someone who causes all the high-level players a major headache. However, when the archers in the team used their eagle eye to check the location, the figures just now suddenly became blurry. Upon closer inspection, they turned out to be two center monsters. The top players were puzzled. Had they really seen wrong just now? But in fact, one of the center was a Jin, and the other was Zhang Xianyu, disguised as a center using his transformation skill. Although most of the viewers in the live stream were there for the spectacle, many guild spies were also watching. It was not long before the news of Zhang Xianyu transforming into a center spread, and was soon known by all the major guilds. When Zhang Xianyu realized that his secret was out, he quickly ran away, but he had no intention of turning off the live stream. This was his big opportunity to make a name for himself. At the same time, Zhang Xianyu deactivated his transformation. It was then that the major guilds finally reacted, and they began a frantic pursuit. Zhang Xianyu calmly cast the speed spirit. His speed increased faster than a Jin who has 4 legs. An intense chase began across the Golden Plains. The guild's members had different movement speeds. Healers and tanks were slower. They quickly fell behind the lead group. Only a few people could keep up with Zhang Xianyu's speed. The guild members were also momentarily hyped up by Zhang Xianyu's live stream. If I cannot catch him, I'll lose face. Meanwhile, Zhang Xianyu added fuel to the fire, whistling and taunting again. The expert player's anger reached its peak, determined to take down Zhang Xianyu. Just then, a loud roar stopped them in their tracks. Watch out! This man, simply for giving the middle finger, was targeted by the big shots, but halfway through the chase, they suddenly stopped, because they spotted a 3-eyed wolf. It was glaring at them from the side. With no other choice, they had to give up on the pursuit, and after everyone left, the 3-eyed wolf barked twice and happily ran over to the man. Its name is Wang Kai, Zhang Xianyu's little pet. To support it, the man streams live every day to earn money. Although the occasional donations are not much, they are enough to barely afford Wang Kai's food. In order to show everyone fresher live content, Zhang Xianyu decided to end the stream and take on a mission to unlock new monsters and dungeons. However, at that moment, a mysterious user suddenly donated 10,000 US. The sudden large sum left the man at a loss for words, and the sponsor's request was simple. It's because Zhang Xianyu is live streaming the mission details. The sponsor of Mo is a big shot in the alliance. Naturally, he would not be interested in ordinary tasks. The task Zhang Xianyu is currently working on is the only hidden mission in the game God War. When Zhang Xianyu saw the sponsor's request, he became troubled. Revealing the hidden mission details would not only put him in danger, but more importantly, he can see the system's hidden information ability will be discovered by everyone. Just as he hesitated, the sponsor donated another $12,000 and said he would sponsor another $1,000 for every 10 extra minutes of broadcast. Zhang Xianyu was now in a difficult position. He felt bad refusing after taking someone's money. Just as Zhang Xianyu racked his brains for an excuse, a flash of light suddenly appeared. Following them was a group of ironclad warriors. They were the Knight MPs from Sigala Castle. Their purpose this time was to welcome Zhang Xianyu back to the castle to report. The viewers seeing this scene exclaimed that the spectacle was amazing, simply top tier. Zhang Xianyu also used the pretext of reporting to the NPCs and restricted content to end the livestream, citing that he could not reveal details. With the portal's blue light illuminating, the next second Zhang Xianyu appeared inside the castle. He took out the quest item obtained from the red light zombie and handed it to Sajala. Although Sajala was very surprised by the man in front of her, wondering how he got the quest item so quickly, she still followed through with the agreement and presented the quest rewards, 1 legendary skill book and 1 master level skill book. Legendary skill books are generally available for purchase with money, but master level skill books are priceless treasures that cannot be bought even for a sky-high price, because it can directly elevate the level of a skill to the master level of 150. Zhang Xianyu suppressed his inner excitement and looked up at Sigala, because the upcoming series of quest rewards would undoubtedly be extraordinary. This man only glanced at the quest reward, and the next second tears of excitement streamed down his face, because this ring had never appeared in the Divine War. But before he could see the ring's attributes, and then I was immediately teleported to the mission location. Next is Zing Shiny only needs to find the unknown person who attacked Sigiala to obtain this legendary item. Thinking of that shiny ring, Zing Sani's gloom lifted. His eyes lit up instantly, but the next second he could not smile anymore, because a group of people who wanted his head were lying in wait here. The bounty hunter who traded his drink, Zing Xiani quickly realized that something was wrong. Without a word, he led his subordinates into a nearby crack to escape. This crack was the entrance to the location where the mysterious person was found. No one could enter except for him. After escaping, Zing Xiani let out a long sigh of relief. What was supposed to be the most dangerous restricted area had instead become the safest place. Indeed, it's human nature that is the most terrifying. However, escaping from this situation of being chased is no easy task. Naturally, improving one's level equipment and skills is a top priority. Zing Xiani slowly took out the newly acquired legendary skill book from the item vault. He prayed for a game-changing key card. However, when the skill was revealed, Zing Xiani remained unusually calm. Unwavering will has become an essential skill for advanced players. Zing Xianyu can be said to have made a killing with this gacha pull, adding such a crucial card to his skill pool. Zing Xianyu can now level up with peace of mind. As for the mission, others might need to carefully search for that unknown person in the vast ancient battlefield, but Zing Xianyu possesses the ability to see through the system's hidden information. Finding someone is just a small task. Level 80 in 4 days, then amaze everyone. However, what Zing Xianyu did not know was that outside the rift, over 1,000 people had already gathered in just a few days. How impressive this man is. He enters the scene with a god-tier cheat and a king account system. He starts with a max-level account, the Crimson Flame Emperor. His name's How. This is the Earth-Ol era. In the year 2036, a sudden space-time anomaly transformed the entire Earth into a game world filled with danger and opportunity. Later generations called it the Earth-Ol era. On Earth, besides the randomly appearing powerful demonic beasts, humans also possess levels that can be increased and the ability to evolve various professions and skills. After the initial catastrophe, the 5 major leagues ultimately suppressed the demonic beasts, establishing a new order. In this era filled with danger and the unknown, everyone is desperately trying to level up. However, no matter how hard Yihao tried, Yihao's path was blocked by Lu Feng. Lu Feng was there to collect protection money from Yihao. Yihao did not expect that the person who was his subordinate 2 years ago would come today to collect protection money from him. Before Yihao could react, Lu Feng threw a punch and slammed his head onto the ground, shouting loudly, "In 2 years at school, I've gone from level 1 to level 5. You're still level 3, you're just a waste." Suddenly a flying kick appeared right in front of Lu Feng. Lu Feng was sent flying with one kick. The woman before him was Yihao's sister, Yunfei, a level 7 martial artist. Lu Feng, terrified, fled with his lackeys. Before leaving, he did not forget taunt Yihao, calling him a coward who hides behind women. Yunfei quickly stepped forward to comfort Yihao. Yihao gently stroked his sister's head. "Silly girl. Don't worry, your brother will not give up so easily." This man started off as a king. His max level count lets him pick whatever he wants. Today is his 18th birthday, but he cannot be happy because he cannot level up. His level is stuck at level 3. Yihao and his family had just finished dinner and were walking out of the restaurant. Suddenly there was a loud explosion. A rift in the dimensions suddenly appeared behind them. Looks like a monster spawn is happening. Then a huge spider appeared before everyone. This is a rare elite monster, the level 15 Ghost Eye Demon Spider. Yihao's family happened to be locked onto by the Ghost Eye Demon Spider. They were almost killed on the spot. Yihao's mother, fiercely protective of her husband, still nearly lost her life with a single strike. Younger sister Yunfei could not bear to leave her parents behind. He was also severely injured by the Ghost Eye Demon Spider. It seemed like his little sister was about to become the Ghost Eye Demon Spider's next meal. Yihao grabbed the Demon Spider's stinger with both hands. He urgently told his little sister to take their parents and escape. However, in the face of absolute strength, everything was meaningless. Yihao's health was down to just 1%. Suddenly, 2 loud sounds were heard. The system's voice echoed. The host has accumulated enough experience points. King account system activated. Because the host is currently incapacitated, the system will randomly select a king account. The system has randomly selected the king account, Chiyenda. Then a strong golden light erupted from Yihao's body. Yihao's earned. With the Flame Emperor possessing him, a flame shadow sword condensed in his hand. The sword cut through the foreclaw of the ghost-eyed demon spider. He kept coughing up old blood. Taking this opportunity, the ghost-eyed demon spider tried to escape. Yihao immediately used explosive flame inferno to block its retreat. Yihao's domineering gaze and the overwhelming pressure emanating from him made the ghost-eyed demon spider break out in cold sweat. It could not believe that such a situation was occurring with a level 3 human. At that moment, the rescue team arrived, but Yihao kindly tried to stop them, telling them not to go to their deaths, only to be met with ridicule. But the Ghost Eye Spider's area of effect attack instantly wiped out the small fry. They all became experience points for the Ghost Eye Spider. What shocked Yihao was that after killing those small fry, the Ghost Eye Spider actually leveled up 3 times in one go. Not only did its strength increase dramatically, but its appearance also changed. What should a level 3 account do when facing an elite monster of level 18? Looking at Yihao, is he really going to be defeated? But after all, he's a man with the protagonist's halo. He's activated cheats again. He's gained the max level account, Crimson Flame Emperor, at the brink of death. The Crimson Flame Emperor's ultimate skill, Crimson Blaze Storm, is now activated. Yihao stands up again. Terrifying pressure of flames radiated from his body. He gripped his hands tightly, unleashing his ultimate finishing move, Crimson Flame Storm. With a single strike, the Ghost Eye Demon Spider was instantly destroyed. System prompt earned 20,000 experience points. A pile of reward items dropped. Yihao could no longer hold on. Collapsing to the ground, he used the last of his strength, picked up equipment items. With the continuous sound of ding-ding, a system prompt appeared. You have picked up 15000 gold and 18th level magic crystal, a ring of luck, poisonous venom silk, and a ghost-eyed spider gland. The system voice sounded again. Due to the host's injuries, 1000 experience points have been automatically converted to repair your body. Current remaining experience points 10000. When the system finished repairing Yihao's body, he arrived in the system space. He stood before the man in red armor. The max level account, Crimson Flame Emperor. This was also the source of Yihao's power. Suddenly, a voice from the system rang out. Welcome, host, to the King level account system. This system contains accounts from countless game dimensions, all belonging to max level kings. The host can use their own experience points to gradually unlock these king level accounts. Because the host's experience points have reached level 10, the random account, Crimson Flame Emperor, has been automatically activated. Yihao finally realized that his efforts over the past 3 years had not been in vain, but had instead been forcibly absorbed by the system. From now on, reaching the peak of life was surely just around the corner. The system also reminded him that although Crimson Flame Emperor is at max level, but the host still needs to use experience points to improve the connection level with the account. The higher the connection level, the more powerful the account's abilities can be unleashed. Sure enough, there's no such thing as instant success. Yao also felt a little headache. He had to quickly figure out the optimal usage of this system. This cool-looking maxed-out account, Chi Yan Dykes, was once a maxed-out powerhouse from another dimension, with dual attributes of fire and darkness, weapon Flame Shadow Greatsword, basic skill Explosive Flame Hell, Phantom Flame True Fire, Explosive Flame Dragon Bullet, ultimate fatal skill Crimson Flame Storm, Crimson Star Dark attribute not yet unlocked. This awesome account is one of the newly activated king accounts by Yihao. Now he has set a small goal for himself, to unlock more accounts. Create a well-rounded King's Legion with all attributes. Comprehensive and balanced development is the true path to success. System prompt 10,000 experience points remaining. You can choose to upgrade the account link level, or unlock other auxiliary skills. Yihao decisively chose to upgrade the link level. After all, the immediate priority is to increase survivability and unlock the account. Skills are secondary. A couple loud sounds rang out. Account link level 2. Current link level 12. Yihao immediately felt a surge of fresh energy filling his body. But when Yihao opened his attribute panel again, he found that it still showed level 3. Could this be forcing him to play the pretend to be weak game? Suddenly a voice sounded. Why does it require so much money? That voice, it's actually the voice of my little sister, Yi Yunfei. When Yihao woke up, he found himself lying in a hospital bed with an IV drip. He was confused about how he ended up in the hospital, and not only had his blood volume been restored, but just thinking about how he had spent 10,000 experience points made him feel a sharp pain. From the hospital corridor, the sound of an argument between his little sister and the doctor could be heard, and the sound of his mother's coughing. Although Yihao did not know how he ended up in the hospital, as long as his family was safe, nothing else mattered. In the hallway, Fifi was arguing with the doctor over the advanced recovery serum, because their medical expenses had reached 500,000. It turned out that Yihao's entire family had been poisoned by an elite monster's deadly debuff. To recover, they needed to use special medication for a long time. That's why the cost was so high, and according to the doctor, if Yihao and his father do not take the medication, they probably will not last long. Hearing the doctor's words, Feifei's heart ached like a knife wound. In her agitation, she could not stop coughing. Her mother could only helplessly say that if there was really no other way, they'd have to sell the house. At that moment, Yihao's voice came through. The house cannot be sold. That's the foundation of our family. I'll find a way to get the money for the treatment as soon as possible. To the doctor's disbelief, this patient, who clearly suffered a fatal wound, had recovered. Seeing his seriously ill sister, Yihao told Feifei not to worry about the medical expenses. The doctor on the side was in turmoil, and he was the one most severely poisoned. Yihao did not want to explain further, only asking how much more money was needed besides his family's medical expenses. The doctor said 300,000 more yuan was needed, but he was still curious, because only a level 3 youth's healing speed was visible before him. It was faster than any level 60 person he had ever seen. 300,000 yuan was indeed a huge sum for Yihao at present. However, he still requested the doctor to treat his family first. He said he would raise the 300,000 within an hour. The doctor, adhering to the professional ethics of saving lives and healing the wounded, gave Yihao a chance. Then Yihao opened his system panel. To check his inventory, he analyzed that the fastest way to make money now was only selling equipment. And his most valuable item was this level 18 rare magic crystal, and they can be traded. Magic crystals have a certain chance of dropping after defeating monsters. They are the basic materials for crafting magical equipment. The higher the level, the more valuable they are, if sold legitimately. Yihao can get a fair price. But 1 hour is not enough, especially since he's only level 3. He does not even have the qualifications to consign them. After much deliberation, Yihao could only take that path. It is the underground black market hidden within the 9th security zone. It is known as the underground black market. Yihao hides beneath his black cloak. He has already entered the 9th security zone. If it were before, Yihao would never have dared to come here. But now with the king's account system, things are different. The 2 small guards at the black market entrance looked down on Yihao and would not let him enter. Yihao would not be intimidated. Did not you say the black market allows everyone to trade freely here? Scar-faced Gaga still looked down on Yihao. He said they do not accept toys for little kids here. Yihao did not want to cause trouble, so he said he had valuable goods. He asked them to move aside again. The impatient fat Gaga suddenly grabbed Yihao. He was about to throw him out, but at that moment, the old man wearing a garment with the character Fortune on it spoke up to help Yihao out of the situation. The old man was called Old Le. It seemed like he was someone of considerable standing. Standing on the 2nd floor, he looked down at Yihao and said, "I wonder, young brother, if you have any fine goods, would you be willing to show them to an old man like me?" Yihao unfastened his cloak and casually pulled it open, revealing the level 18 rare magic crystal in his hand. "I wonder if this item of mine might catch your eye." As soon as this 18th level rare magic crystal appeared, it dazzled the eyes of these little guys. Old Lai really did not expect that a level 3 kid would have something like this. It seems this deal is going to happen. Then the black market door was promptly opened. Just now, it was this woman who stepped in to help Yihao. Her name is Mokir, level 20. Mokir is also the young lady of Hamo group. With her here stirring things up, Old Lai does not dare act too arrogantly, although the 2 families are rivals. Her status is much higher than his. Just as Yihao was trying to recall who this woman was, Mokir leaned in and said, "Hey, handsome, I'm really interested in your rare magic crystal." As soon as these words were spoken, Old Lai was stunned. The kid only offered 200,000, and you rebidding 300,000. What do you mean by that? Moki said she was just rich and capricious. The real reason was that she was deliberately picking on Old Lai. Old Lai knew he was in the wrong, but did not dare make a decision with her. He could only storm off angrily. At this moment, Yihao finally remembered the 9th safe zone. The Huangzhang and Hemo groups have always been rivals. I never expected to run into him today. Just when he thought he could climb up to Mokir and sell more product, this woman suddenly reversed her attitude and became incredibly cold. The only reason she is helping Yihao is because it's a chance to humiliate the Huangzhang group. As for that magic crystal, Moki does not care at all. He directly let his subordinates handle it on their own. He could even throw it away. Truly a person of great wealth and power, although Mokir seemed very proud. This time Yi Wu still remembered the favor in his heart. After all, he helped him solve a big problem. The scene moved to his father's hospital room. His condition was still not very stable. Suddenly the door was roughly pushed open by a bald-headed doctor. The moment the door opened, they were met with harsh words. "How dare you poor souls stay here?" Although the doctor tried to explain desperately, the bald director would not listen at all. He grabbed the doctor and joined in the scolding. The doctor still tried to buy some time for Yihao. The director slapped him across the face. Then he turned his gaze to his father in the bed. He reached out to remove his oxygen mask. Fei tried to stop him, but the fat man punched her. Just then Yihao kicked the door open. The fat director was furious. He grabbed Yihao by the collar and demanded compensation. He glared at him fiercely. "Use this hand to hurt my family just now?" As soon as he finished speaking, the fat man's hand spontaneously combusted. He was scared and fled in a panic. The doctor was afraid Yihao would make a scene. Yihao said it was just a small punishment. It would not cost him his life. He then handed the doctor a card with 310,000 yuan on it. The doctor also promised that his family would receive the best treatment. Seeing that Yihao had gathered the money, Fei lowered her head, feeling guilty and blaming herself. Yihao felt very sorry for his younger sister. He told her not to blame herself too much. It turned out that Fei was supposed to participate in the Academy's dungeon competition tomorrow. Who knew she would encounter such an elite monster like the Ghost Eye Spider? If she could participate, money would not be a big problem. Hearing his younger sister mention the dungeon competition, Yihao immediately became excited. Moreover, the starting prize for the dungeon competition, this made Yihao even more excited. Next, Yihao was about to begin his real performance. Inside the principal was already giving a wildly enthusiastic opening speech. Even the dungeon had such a ceremonious atmosphere. The moment the students in the audience heard the principal mention the dungeon's starting reward of 500,000, and that additional bonuses would be added based on completion, with no upper limit, they all went wild, shouting incessantly. As for why the rewards this time are so generous, it's all thanks to the strong sponsorship of Manhwa Group for this competition's instance. The old principal worked hard to introduce it. Mokir, as the center of attention, also stood on stage. The little guys below looked at the beauty as if starving wolves had spotted a lamb. The old principal threw out another bombshell. The ultimate winner of this competition can directly join Manhwa Group's Mo attack team. Compared to the reward, joining this team is the greatest gain. It's like stepping directly to the peak of life. Yahao among the crowd remained calm. He thought Moki was a bit too eager in her approach to recruit talent, but none of that concerned him. His goal was only the prize money. Dungeon Level 5. This dungeon is the highest level dungeon of the academy. The monsters inside are at least level 5. The final boss is said to be a level 10 elite monster. At this point, many people began to reconsider. After all, their overall average level is only level 5. Yahao is very clear about the final boss. It's a level 10 elite monster, the Shadow Train. However, an elite monster of this level is undoubtedly just a free meal for Yahao. After announcing the instance type, the instance mode is a dual mechanism of PvP and PvP. The competition supports teams of up to 5 people. The instance is difficult, but teaming up is possible. This gave the students hope again. After all, they could rely on stronger players. Defeating the boss would not be a difficult task. Someone also pointed out the key point, the addition of PvP. This means that while fighting monsters, you also have to watch out for ambushes from other teams. Yahao, however, saw something different. The academy is clearly training their practical combat and survival skills. The student below raised a question. Headmaster, if we're in teams, how will the winner be determined? It seemed the headmaster already knew someone would ask that. With a wave of his hand and a snap of his fingers, the competition is still based on individual point accumulation, but the strategy points for the Shadow Trent are divided equally among the team. In other words, the winner will only emerge from the team that completes the strategy. The principal's expression suddenly became sly, because to let everyone experience the true atmosphere of the battlefield in advance, he stipulated that teams must defeat other teams in the PvP area. You can convert the opponent's points into your own points. At this, the entire audience was once again in an uproar. This is essentially encouraging fierce competition between the teams. Having explained all the rules, the principal spread his arms wide. With a loud I hereby announce the competition begins. The instance is about to open. Some people started trying to recruit others into their team, but Yahao became the target of their mockery. Yahao could not be bothered to pay attention to them. Even if they begged him to team up, he would not do it. Now Brother Ho is someone with hacks. Teacher, I want to sign up. The beautiful teacher turned around and saw that only Yahao was there. She kindly reminded him that it's best to team up first. Otherwise, he's a very dangerous level 3 kid. Just then Lu Feng came looking for trouble again. Seeing Yahao's impatient reply, Lu Feng's little underlings acted arrogantly. With his little brothers cheering him on, Lu Feng became even more arrogant. He provocatively told Yahao to bark like a dog. He said he would take him into the dungeon. Yahao looked at him with disdain. How does a dog bark? Without thinking, Lu Feng immediately replied, of course, it's woof woof. As soon as the words left his mouth, the air suddenly fell silent. When Lu Feng realized he had been slapped in the face by Yahao in front of everyone, he quickly clenched his fists in anger, but the teacher, who had quickly dashed forward, blocked Yi's path. Lu Feng had no choice but to stop. Before leaving, he still could not resist throwing a harsh word. Yahao, if you've got the guts, do not run. I'll be waiting for you to feed me kills in the dungeon. Brother Ho is sharp-tongued. There's no such thing as running in my dictionary. The teacher quickly tried to get them to calm down. Then with Yi's insistence, the beautiful teacher successfully signed Yahao up. Now the good show is about to begin. When Yahao successfully signed up for the instance, the system sound also rang out. Congratulations, host. You have successfully started your first instance. You gained 20,000 experience points. Unbeknownst to him, that scene caught Mokir's attention again. Mokir is also looking forward to seeing what a level 3 player is really capable of. Scene change. Yahao is finally teleported into the instance, the Shadow Forest level 510. The starting location of the instance is random. This is to avoid players fighting each other from the start. This also greatly facilitates Yahao's independent actions. Yahao now needs to clear the monsters in this area as quickly as possible. Yahao summons his level-capped Chi Nd and cuts through the monsters like vegetables. The points keep rising, but the dungeon is too large, and the monsters are too scattered. This is undoubtedly a waste of time. To win, you have to hunt high-level monsters. Suddenly, Yahao noticed that the small spiders on the ground were all crawling in one direction. Something's off. Yahao followed closely behind. Unknowingly, he had followed the group of small spiders. Yahao had already reached the depths of the forest. The danger is getting closer. When he looked inside, he saw a huge blood-red spider web with a woman hanging on it. Who's this woman? Why is she hanging on the spider web? She started screaming loudly as soon as she woke up. Help! Someone help! He leaped up. He said, if you want to live, shut your mouth. He landed steadily on a nearby thick branch. If it were not for the fact that this woman was a friend of his younger sister, he would not have risked his life to save her. However, in Ruin Tianqian's words, there seemed to be a hint of disdain for Yahao, a level 3 player. She thought he was incapable of cutting the spider silk of that level 8 elite monster. Yahao showed a look of disdain. He picked up a strand of spider silk, and crimson flames appeared in his hand. The crimson flames followed the spider silk and instantly burned the web. Ruin Tianqian did not expect that Yahao, who was only level 3, actually managed to do it. When Yahao told her to leave quickly, a drop of old flame landed on his shoulder. Looking up, he saw the level 8 elite monster, the Red Widow, glaring down at him. That drop of phlegm had just been spat out by it onto Yahao. The Red Widow spat another large chunk of phlegm. Yahao grabbed Ruin Tianqian's shoulders and dodged, but they fell into the trap the Red Widow had already set. Before Yahao could figure out a way to escape, they were tightly bound together by spider silk. Seeing the Red Widow getting closer, Ruin Tianqian screamed in fear. Do not move. Otherwise the spider silk will tighten. Yahao felt incredibly agitated. He'd been outsmarted by the spider twice. Suddenly the Black Widow turned and left. This gave the two whose lives hung in the balance a moment's relief. Ruin Tianqian thought they had simply not been to the Black Widow's liking. She thought they were saved, but Yahao was terrified, because according to the Black Widow's habits, it would, after finishing its meal, lay eggs inside the captured human body to reproduce offspring. It turned away just now because it was not full. It was not full, but when it returns again, when she eats the two of you, it will be really over. These words scared Ruin Tianqian into crying out loud. No, I do not want to give it babies. Yahao could not do anything to her at the moment. If we use the Crimson Flame Emperor's fire, we might be able to escape, but this would likely burn Ruin Tianqian. Yahao had a sudden idea. The only option was to bite through the spider silk. Fortunately, Yahao had strong teeth. The two finally escaped from danger. Ruin Tianqian cried as if she had been reborn. Just then the Red Widow had returned. Yahao told Ruin Tianqian to find her team. She grabbed the corner of Yahao's clothes. You're only level 3? Against an elite level 8 monster, you'll just get killed instantly. Hurry up and escape with me. Yahao raised the corner of his mouth. I did not enter this dungeon to be their prey. My goal is to hunt. That frustration earlier. He needs to vent properly on this level 8 elite monster. Facing the level 8 Red Widow right in front of him, Yahao remained incredibly calm but still reminded Ruin Tianqian that whether she chose to run or stay, she should not interfere with him. As a healer, Ruin Tianqian actually wanted to help Yahao recover health, but when Yahao exuded a terrifying pressure, she realized how redundant her presence was. Yahao condensed a flame shadow sword in his hand. This time, he was going to vent the anger caused by his family's injury from the Eye Spider. All of it was going to be unleashed on the level 8 Red Widow before him. Yahao leaped into the air and easily dodged. Using the momentum, he held the sword with both hands in mid-air. He slashed out with a single strike, instantly killing the Red Widow. The powerful flame sword blade swept through its body, cutting it down. With that one strike, it seemed as though Yahao had cleaved the entire forest in half. Competition instance prompt. Yahao killed the level 8 elite Red Widow. Received 1,000 points. Ruin Tianqian assisted in the kill. Received 500 points. A King's account system prompt. Yahao received 5,000 experience points. Ruin Tianqian never imagined that she got points for doing nothing. Could this be the legendary easy win? She finally had a strong player to rely on. The next second, Ruin Tianqian kept flattering. She really wanted to hold on to Yahao's thigh tightly. Seeing that Yahao was ignoring her, she directly hung herself around his neck. This made Yahao look very annoyed. Yahao squatted down to pick up the loot. He said he could give her the points, but the things that were dropped were all his. Ruin Tianqian would not dare have any objections. She'd be grateful to Haoji, the great god, just for carrying her to victory. Yahao was holding the combat item, the Black Widow's Venomous Fang. Then this Venomous Fang actually automatically upgraded to a lethal Venomous Fang, adding bleeding, poisoning, and weakening effects. The number of uses increased to level 3. Dropped items can temporarily upgrade. That's a pretty good combat item. Yahao thought of the ring that the Ghost Eye Demon Spider had dropped earlier. Upon checking, the attribute description of this lucky ring was simply amazing. It could trigger a random upgrade of the level of the item obtained. He never expected this to be a legendary ring. Yahao had truly found a treasure. With this ring, his future equipment farming would be greatly enhanced. As for Ruin Tianqian's little movements, Yahao swiftly pulled her hand away. She hopes that her secret will be kept. Otherwise, she should be very clear about what the consequences will be. This murderous glitch. Immediately, Ruin Tianqian covered her mouth. At that moment, a voice came from behind. The speaker was Liang, Ruin Tianqian's former team leader. Liang's team has 3,000 points. It turns out that Ruin Tianqian was kicked out of their team. They were used as cannon fodder to lure the Red Widow. This gave Liang's team a chance to escape. Liang and Ruin Tianqian exchanged a few words. His men then discovered the Red Widow had been burned to a crisp. It was completely barbaric. Liang returned to gather reinforcements to kill it. But he was killed. This rage then turned towards Ruin Xiantian. Ruin Xiantian is now clinging to Yi Hao's leg. She was about to grab Yi Hao's arm, but Yi Hao dodged her beforehand. But when they saw it was Yi Hao, they mercilessly mocked him without exception. Ruin Xiantian felt extremely wrong. It was not because they were talking about her, but because they insulted the great god in her heart. Liang would rather believe that it was Ruin Xiantian who got lucky and killed this elite monster, than believe it was Yi Hao. Suddenly a beast's roar echoed from deep within the forest. The sound scared Ruin Xiantian so much that she clung to Yi Hao's arm. Hearing this sound, Liang's team was quite excited, because it was the roar of the 5,000-point magic Tyrannosaurus. They were about to go and take down this rare elite. Yi Hao still reminded them that going now would be suicide. Liang did not take it seriously at all. Yi Hao mocked them again, calling them a bunch of weaklings. In the past, they were just filling in the gaps for the demon Tyrannosaurus. Angered, Liang was about to confront him head-on. Luckily, Xiaogag stopped him. After Liang's team left, Ruin Xiantian suggested going to the outskirts with Yi Hao to grind some small monsters. Yi Hao, however, was heading toward the demon Tyrannosaurus. Ruin Xiantian followed closely behind him. When asked about his plans, Yi Hao turned around and smiled coldly. Of course, he plans to follow and profit from the situation. Pay attention. This is a giant eagle, almost losing its feathers from fear while running. However, the next second it becomes food for the Tyrannosaurus Rex. This deep red muscle-bound dinosaur is an 8th level rare elite Tyrannosaurus Rex. At this moment, Liang's team is already hiding in the grass behind it. They found that the Tyrannosaurus had just fought another giant beast. Its health was already down 15%. Even so, a small jeep was still scared by the Tyrannosaurus's overwhelming aura. Trembling with fear and wanting to retreat, Liang looked happy. He declared that the 4 of them, level 5, could not beat a single level 8 elite. He even boasted that within a powerful D-piece, they had nothing to fear. They charged towards the magma dragon. Suddenly, a young man noticed something was wrong. He remembered from the strategy guide that the magma dragon should be dark green. What are you saying? But now it's black and red, and the black and red color can only indicate one fact, that is the magma dragon is now in a berserk state. Liang's team immediately fled. The magma dragon's tail was already swinging towards them. One blow, a Tyrannosaurus tail whip, instantly killing 2, then a blast of flames to take down another. Liang was so scared his soul left his body. This is the consequence of arrogance. The result was that Liang attracted all the hatred. Relying on his maxed out agility stat, he frantically fled. During his escape, Liang hatched a new plan. He planned to shift the hatred onto Yi Hao, the closest person to him. Meanwhile, Ruin Xiantian and Yi Hao also arrived here. Seeing Liang fleeing from the wolf fox, Ruin Xiantian let out a surprised exclamation. Liang, however, was overjoyed and accelerated, circling behind her. With one palm, he shoved her towards the magnetron behind her. Ruin Xiantian fell flat on her face. As she got up and was about to scold Liang, terrifying aura suddenly appeared behind her. When she turned around, she was facing the bloodthirsty Tyrannosaurus's massive mouth. Frightened, Ruin Xiantian reflexively cast a skill. Yi Hao cursed her, calling her an idiot, because the Tyrannosaurus's aggro was not on her. Now it's ruined. The skill did not do much damage, but it was extremely insulting. The aggro completely shifted to this stupid woman. This is probably a typical example of a teammate letting the team down. Liang took the opportunity to escape using his invisibility technique. As his figure completely disappeared, Yi reached out and grabbed. He actually forced Liang out. His invisibility technique was instantly broken. To Yi Hao, Liang was nothing more than a walking mass of heat. Catching him was as easy as catching a chick. Seeing the tyrant dragon approaching quickly, Liang shouted, "Let him go. Otherwise we'll all be doomed." Yi Hao smiled confidently. Really? After letting go of Liang, Yi Hao stomped the ground hard. The terrifying blaze spread quickly through the cracks toward the tyrant dragon. With one move, the explosive flame inferno controlled the tyrant dragon. Ruin Xiantian was finally saved. The rescued Tuan Xiantian leaned against Tatua Choji. Circumstances are stronger than people. The arrogant Liang knelt on the ground begging for mercy. Tuan Xiantian was instantly captivated by Yi Hao's domineering aura. Liang hugged Tuan Xiantian's feet again, asking her to plead for him with Yi Hao. Now that she's with the great god Yi Hao, Tuan Xiantian completely disregarded him. At that moment, the dragon tyrant, bound by the explosive inferno prison, unleashed a dragon's roar. It broke through the fire wall and charged towards Yi Hao again. Meanwhile, Liang seized the opportunity to pull out a poisoned 7-headed dagger from behind. He aimed at Yi Hao's back. With a sharp clink, Yi Hao swiftly blocked the lethal strike with his flame shadow sword. Originally, Yi Hao was going to let him off because he had led them to the monster, but now there's no need for that. He gave him a quick death. The dungeon system's voice sounded. Liang was unwillingly teleported out of the dungeon. Yi Hao also obtained Liang's invisibility skill book and poison dagger. This is a VIP mechanism. Defeating an opponent has a certain chance of dropping their items and equipment. It can also be traded. This kind of situation has never occurred before. Just as Yahao was puzzled by this, the mad Tyrannosaurus had already appeared behind him. It looked like he was about to lose his life to the dragon's jaws. Yahao turned around and struck the mad Tyrannosaurus' head with a sword. However, for the enraged mad Tyrannosaurus, it was like a mere scratch. Yahao was knocked back by the recoil. Using the recoil, Yahao flipped in midair. He unleashed the blazing fire dragon bullet of the Crimson Flame Emperor. At such close range, the magma tyrant could only take the hit passively. His health rapidly decreased. After Yahao landed, he already had a plan to purify the magma tyrant's enraged state. This time, Yahao surprisingly abandoned Flame Shadow. He charged towards the magma tyrant barehanded. After the punch hit its lower jaw, it quickly retreated, brushing past Ruin Tianqian. He signaled her to get ready to use a soothing skill on the Tyrannosaurus. Yahao charged forward again. Using his shield, he blocked the Tyrannosaurus's dragon breath. He told Ruin Tianqian to get ready, but she was afraid she would not succeed. Yahao told her to follow orders. He immediately engaged in hand-to-hand combat with the Tyrannosaurus. To increase the success rate of his skills, Yahao would fight it barehanded, reducing its health to below 20%. The Tyrannosaurus then launched another tail swing. Yahao simply extended his arm to block it. The reason he chose to fight barehanded was because he feared that the overwhelming power of the Crimson Flame Emperor might accidentally kill it in one hit. This kind of battle where he could not unleash his full strength truly frustrated him. Yahao seized the magma tyrant's tail. He then performed an incredibly exaggerated midair slam. As the magma tyrant crashed heavily to the ground, his health dropped below 20%. Yahao shouted to Ruin Tianqian, "Quick, now!" Ruin Tianqian extended her healing staff while chanting the spell, a combination of beauty and wisdom, the embodiment of love and magic. "In the name of love, I'll heal you. Then I'll send a big wave of love."